is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are so.
Last night, grit and determination played a major part in the Braves' come-from-behind extra-inning win on Chicago's north side at Wrigley. Tonight, it's the first of a three-game set on the south side, where five-time All-Star Chris Sale takes the hill. He'll be opposed by Braves righty Matt Wisler. Friday night, Braves baseball comes your way next from U.S. Cellular Field. Well, the south side of Chicago might be the baddest part of town, but the Braves don't need Leroy Brown. They've got Nick Markakis and Matt Wisler going to work in game one of a big interleague series here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. And hi again, friends, along with Paul Bird, Chip Carey. Welcome to U.S. Cellular Field for what should be a very entertaining weekend series. The Braves coming off an emotional victory over the Chicago Cubs, but alas, Paul, they're running into one of the game's best in Chris Sale, who's off to a brilliant start this year for the Chicago White Sox.
He's been outstanding, and Chip, 14 wins, got a chance to win 15 before the All-Star break. Outstanding, and look at that. White Sox have done outstanding. Frazier with 23 home runs. Chris Sale, you see that 2.93 ERA. He has been outstanding.
Yeah, Chris Sale is the anchor of this ball club. He might be the American League's all-star starter in San Diego out of Petco Park. And this guy has a chance to do something that hasn't been done since Wilbur Wood. That is, earn 15 victories, Paul, before the All-Star break. Simply amazing.
Yeah, he is. And I mean, it's 91 and 97 from the left side. The Frisbee slider, outstanding. And man, this guy is really, really tough.
And the Braves, as you know, have had trouble this year beating left-handed starters. And unfortunately for Matt Wisler, another tough draw for the Braves' young right-hander who suffered from anemic run support this year. Runs figure to come at a premium tonight.
Yeah, it was Shelby Miller last year. This year, Matt Wisler. But it has not affected him. He's been dynamite on the mound. You saw the Fort Bragg game. Good slider. Last four starts have been outstanding. You're right. He's got a tough assignment, but who knows? Maybe he can pull it off.
Hey, Nick Markakis hit a couple of home runs at Wrigley Field. This ballpark is a very homer-friendly place as well. Let's see if the Braves can keep up their strong offensive surge as we meet the Pale Hose in Game 1 at the Cell next.
Same city, new team. We're here at U.S. Cellular Field for Game 1 of the Braves versus the White Sox, and it was an emotional one last night at Wrigley Field. The Braves pulling out a win in extra innings, and we've seen a lot of emotion from this Braves team recently. We've seen some ejections. We saw the benches clear last night, and most importantly, this team is getting some big wins, and it's good to see that fight and this energy that the team's seen. And Jeff Francoeur has been one of the biggest spark clubs that we've seen so far, and I went and asked him, what does he attribute this newfound energy to?
Oh, you know, we're playing well and we're battling a lot. You know, we had a tough loss on Wednesday coming there from Philly, and last night we were playing well and we wanted to win the ball game. And sometimes that stuff happens, but it's good to see everybody picking each other up and really, you know, honestly working hard. Playing so much better than what our record is now. We struggled so much early, but you know, we're playing with teams. You know, we're taking 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4 from a couple of these teams, and we're playing well. So I think it's like anything, you want to show what we're capable of doing, and right now, you know, guys are feeding off that, and I think it's a good thing.
It is a good thing, and we are playing an American League team, so Jeff Francoeur is in there as designated hitter tonight as he looks to continue to bring some energy to this team. But we have Game 1 of the Braves versus the White Sox. Matt Whistler on the mound for your Atlanta Braves as they try to get a win streak going here in Chicago. Chip and Paul take it back after the break.
Games, and they've been hitting everything hard. That is Dale Torborg, the son of former White Sox skipper Jeff Torborg, otherwise known as the Kiss Demon during his WCW wrestling days. So if there's another bench clearing incident here in Chicago, you want to avoid the Demon at all costs. As we look at the White Sox defense, the man in the middle is their all-star Chris Sale, who's on the mound with 14 victories, just 2 losses so far this year. Former Brave Melky Cabrera is in left field. Jose Abreu, a big slugger at first base. And this will be a real treat for National League fans in Atlanta to see Chris Sale. But Paul, I'm sure not a treat if you're trying to hit him.
No, you're right. I wish I had better news, but that ERA, which is a 2.93, you may think it's a little high. This is the American League. He's 3rd in the league. He's nasty. Throws from the side with the frisbee slider. And as you said, a well-deserved all-star.
And here's the Atlanta lineup he will face, with Chase Darno getting a start in left field. Gordon Beckham, a former White Sox, along with Tyler Flowers behind the plate. Jeff Francoeur, as Kelsey mentioned on Braves Live, will be the designated hitter for Brian Snitker's ball club. The Braves 20-29 since Brian Snitker took over at the helm of the ball club. Braves at 29-57. Boy, what a great game last night at Wrigley Field. An 11-inning 4-3 Atlanta win over the Cubs. So here comes Sale, and his first of the night is up and away, and we're underway. Ball one.
I've still got a little emotion going, Chip, from that crazy game last night, and it was nice to go back to our hotel and come back to another night game.
Boy, these getaway days are tough, aren't they, man? All the arduous travel all the way from the north side of Chicago to U.S. Cellular Field, about 4 miles away from downtown. And Dale Scott has the plate tonight, and that's the first strike of the night for Chris Sale. Darno hitting .260, a homer, 9 RBIs. And didn't get a pitch up in the zone. It's now 2-2. And a ground ball toward Frazier at third. A step to his left. And a ground ball out gets Darno, and we're underway. One man down here in the top of the first. And a nice round of applause for Gordon Beckham, a former #1 pick by the White Sox back in 2008. Great to have Gordon back in the lineup. He's missed 50 games because of 2 separate hamstring issues. He played last night against the Cubs and went 0 for 4. And a change is in for a strike from Sale.
Sale really tough on righties and lefties because, Chip, he throws across his body. You see that lead foot really closes himself off, and then he throws the sidearm fastball and slider coming out of that same slot, but you can't pick it up till late. Mix the fact that he's 6'6" in and the ball gets on you. Very effective against both righties and lefties.
You're right. Sale's 6'6", rail thin, 180 pounds. And one of the game's best. And Becca knew he was struck out. First punch out of the game for Chris Sale. 2 up, 2 down.
There's those lefty-righty splits we're talking about. Righties 215, but they do hit more home runs off him. But again, it's 215. So when lefties hit 207, you can give up a few long balls and still have that low ERA, and another reason why he's got 14 wins.
Freddie Freeman jumps on the first pitch and drives it deep toward left. Melky Cabrera back. It is gone. A first pitch home run for Freddie Freeman. And the Braves, with 2 outs, have jumped in front of Chris Sale here in the first inning.
Outstanding, and that is on the scouting report, Chip. Don't stick around for the slider. Freddie swinging first pitch fastball away, and what he does so well, always hitting the ball to opposite field, getting behind it. Not just a single guy can really crush the ball the other way.
Well, there are only 3 left-hand hitters in the major leagues that have hit a home run against Chris Sale this year. Eric Hosmer hit 2 of them. Freddie Freeman goes opposite field here in the first. And Atlanta leads 1-0. Here's Nick Markakis, a 2-homer game against the Cubs yesterday.
Chip, I've noticed we're pretty good at the reverse jinx up here in the booth. As soon as we put that stat up, we'll have to keep that in mind as the game goes on.
Well, you know, Sale doesn't know much about Freddie Freeman other than videotape. Freddie loves to ambush first pitches, and he did just that. And he gives Matt Whistler a first-inning lead with a solo home run, his 15th of the year. 1 as we head to the bottom of the opening inning. And now Matt Whistler, who doesn't get much run support. He's got 1 to play with here in the first inning tonight.
And you see that poor run support right there, Julio as well, but 2.7 runs a game. Getting 1 in the first got to make him feel good, especially off Chris Sale. And his pitching keys to success are this: going downtown, got to stay down in the zone. This is a park where the ball can leave the field early, got to stay down and slip sliding away. Not just a great Simon and Garfunkel song. He's got to have that nasty slider. It's not the Frisbee type like Sale. He stays on top. It's short, quick, and late.
Matt's looking for his first career victory against an American League club. He's looking for his 4th win overall this year. Tim Anderson is a former #1 pick of the White Sox. And I would think, Paul, this is a guy that an opposing pitcher can try to attack.
He can. Only 1 walk. He's kind of like Lance Johnson, the former one-dog leadoff hitter that the White Sox had, where he's just swinging a lot. And as you see, he's coming out of his shoes swinging. Very, very fast and strong home run defense.
Tim out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 17th pick taken in 2013. Got to the big leagues on June the 10th. He's done a nice job at the top of the order. He and Adam Eaton have been a nice combination. And Whistler just missed, and on the appeal, it's called a strike. So 1-2 for Anderson, hitting .295 for the year. And a swing and a miss. The White Sox leadoff man is retired, and Whistler has his first strikeout. A look at the rest of the White Sox starting 9 tonight. Believe it or not, this is an offensively challenged club by American League standards. They're 13th in average, 13th in homers, 13th in runs scored. Yet Robin Ventura's team is 3 games over 500 and only 7 games behind Cleveland in the American League Central. And here is Adam Eaton batting .274. He's hit 4 homers.
You mentioned them being challenged. I asked some of the guys that described themselves, and they just said we're grinders. Adam Eaton was one of them. Just simply gets the job done. Their goal is not to win 13 or 14 like the Indians, but just keep winning the series.
And they've been doing that. They're coming off a series victory last time out against the New York Yankees here at home. And 2 balls, no strikes. It's been a roller coaster year for Robin Ventura's ball club. They came out of the gates in great shape. After the first month, they were a first place club. But then their fortunes really did a 180. And there's been a lot of speculation about the security of Robin Ventura's job here. But that has since quieted with the White Sox on a nice run the other way. And ball 4 to Eaton, a 4-pitch walk. And the first inning so critical for Matt Whistler. In fact, Paul, the first 2.
Yeah, he really struggles early. You see that ERA in that first inning, and then after the second goes significantly down to a 3.7. You see the average is different. Chip, this is just your normal, very good pitcher who struggles early. We've talked about this before, changing some things in the bullpen. Sometimes it doesn't matter what you do, you just simply can't get everything in a groove right off the start, and you got to find a way to get through that first inning.
Started, then stopped. Well, one thing you don't want to do is have men on base with this man in the batter's box. Jose Abreu, former Rookie of the Year. Back-to-back seasons of 30 homers and 100 RBIs. There are only 2 men in the history of the game that have done that in their first 2 big league seasons. Abreu and Albert Pujols of the Cardinals. This year, Abreu's got 11 homers, 50 RBIs, and a .263 batting average. So he's in scoring position when he stands in the batter's box.
Yes.
But a bit of a slow start for Abreu here in 2016.
Guys are pitching him in more this year, and he's had a little more chase in his swing. So when he's seen that ball, that slider on the outside part of the plate, not picking it up as well as he has the last 2 years. But when you've done that for 2 years in a row, you know it's only a matter of time.
One ball, one strike. Twice now Eaton has started, taken 2 big steps and slammed on the brakes. Wonder if that's distracting Abreu just a bit. Now he's behind, a ball and 2 strikes. Darryl Boston is the White Sox first base coach. Joe McEwing is their third base coach. And up around the shoulders inside to Abreu. Let's see if that sets up that outside corner.
As we talked about working him in, but my goodness, Matt Whistler throwing the ball 93, 94 miles an hour right now. He usually sits 91, 92, so he's got his good stuff, and he has to guard against overthrowing.
Runner goes this time, bouncing ball past Ivar and into left field. Eaton's on his way to third. The throw will go into second. Abreu bangs a 1-out single into left field. And the White Sox are coming right back in the opening inning. They have them first and third with 1 out.
Going on the pitch, and Chip not hit that well, but in the right spot in that 6 hole. Nice job of base running in the round at second base by Eaton.
So here's Melky Cabrera. Melky, a former Brave. You might recall he played in 2010 with Atlanta. Hit 4 homers in 45 starts. He has rediscovered the magic with the White Sox. In fact, it was described to us by some of the White Sox regulars that he's really been the anchor in the middle of their lineup this season. Hitting almost 300, 8 homers, gets on base a lot. He's played good defensively out in left. He's played well defensively out in left. Beg your pardon. And he's got a chance to tie the game with a fly ball here. No balls at a strike. And he chased that one upstairs. Couldn't lay off. 0-2.
We just came from Wrigley where the Cubs have cornered the market on the All-Star game. You're not going to see that here, but you are going to see a lot of guys who can get the job done. As you see, runners scored 9 out of 15 times.
Melky's been an All-Star. That was in 2012 with the Royals. After he left Atlanta in 2010, he went to Kansas City in 2011, added 50 points to his batting average, quadrupled his home run total, doubled his RBI total, and left the Braves wondering what in the world happened to Melky Cabrera. In 2012, he went to the Giants, hit .346, and then got suspended for PEDs. Base hit to left ties the game. So first and second for the White Sox. Eaton scores after he was walked with 1 out. And as we showed you, Paul, on that graphic, the first inning continues to be unkind for the Braves right-hander Matt Whistler.
Fastball up in the zone, needed to be down at the knees. We talked about his keys earlier. Matt Whistler throwing the ball up has almost hit a batter in the head. And as you see, first pitch to Cabrera was up, and then now again he's just having trouble getting the ball down. Couldn't get him down with the put-away pitch.
Now he's facing home run derby champion Todd Frazier, who earned that honor with the Cincinnati Reds. He always plays the Frank Sinatra music for his walk-up. He's got 23 homers for the White Sox, but only a .211 average. So when he hits it, he usually hits it out, apparently, Paul.
He reminds me of Adam Dunn, and you look at that home runs, tied for second with 23, home run rate, plate appearance, and then likes to face right-handed pitchers, as you see, 17 home runs. But here's my thinking on that. If the difference between a 300 and 250 hitter is 1 hit a week for an everyday player in the big leagues, it's not as much as you would think. So when you look at those RBIs and you see the home runs, mix in the fact that he plays great third base, he's very, very valuable and plays the game really hard. So this is a situation, not everybody on your team can hit .211, but there's a place for somebody like that in the clubhouse, on the field, and he's just done a great job, key part of this White Sox team. Do you remember Adam Dunn?
I do. Big left-hand hitter. Play the outfield, play first base. He can hit the ball a country mile. This one's hit a mile high to the left side. And Ibar is going to put that away. It's an infield fly, and Frazier's struggles with runners in scoring position continue. He pops out for the second out of the inning, and that brings up the White Sox hottest hitter, and that's Brett Lawrie.
9-game hit streak, but he's also a strikeout potential guy here. I like that slider with Whistler, man, in scoring position. Use that aggressiveness and pitch him backwards. We'll see how he attacks.
The scouting report on Lawrie, he's their version of Freddie Freeman. Don't lay it in there. He is a very aggressive hitter. And that served him well. He's got a 9-game hitting streak. That one too high to offer. Lawrie was originally a product of the Brewers system, a first-round pick. He was traded to the Jays for Sean Markham.
There's that good 1-0 slider behind in the count. Throw something that looks like a fastball that's not. Use his aggressiveness. A very nice pitch selection.
1 ball, 1 strike. For Lawrie, whose problem has been health. He just has not been able to stay healthy. Rib cage, oblique, index finger fractures. And Toronto in 2014 moved him to Oakland in a great deal for Josh Donaldson, who turned into the MVP in the American League. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Flowers got just enough of that to keep it close. It's 2-2.
We saw last night in Chicago a lot of guys crowding the plate, sticking their knees out, and you'll see Lawrie here standing off the plate. As we look at Lucas Harrell, did a great job last night. So Chip, when you see somebody standing off the plate, that does not mean that the fastball away is always open. You have to watch and see if they dive and then act accordingly.
Lawrie swings and misses, and Whistler is out of the first inning. The White Sox get a run, 2 hits, and a 1-out walk. And after 1, we're tied up. Freddie Freeman with a 2-out homer for the Braves in the first inning. Melky Cabrera with an RBI hit with 1 out for the White Sox, and that brings up Jeff Francoeur, who's our Tools from the Dugout feature, brought to you by Home Depot.
You see that nice average versus left-handed pitchers at 301, a couple home runs. This is not your average left-handed pitcher, Chip, but first inning run put up. We'll see if we're able to get a few more.
Let's just say that Jeff had an interesting night last night. As he celebrated the 11th anniversary of his Major League debut, also against the Chicago Cubs. And Wilson Contreras didn't see eye to eye, as it appeared the Cubs were trying to get a little retribution for 3-hit batsmen. Frazier to his left, cuts it off, and makes a perfect throw to first for out number 1 here in the second. But today, Jeff Francoeur now has 10 full years of Major League service time under his belt. And friends and family with him here in Chicago to celebrate that, justifiably so. That's an amazing accomplishment.
It really is. Just to stay healthy up here with the schedule and to have what it takes, and pitchers figuring out how to get you out, the scouting reports, being able to adapt, make changes. An incredible feat, and he is a great guy. In the locker room, if you're a pain in the butt, then you have to have great numbers year after year after year. He is somebody who is a very great teammate and class act, and another reason why he's weathered a few subpar years.
Really not sure why you looked at me when you said that pain in the butt part. We'll have to talk about that after the game.
Am I allowed to say that on air?
As Garcia singles to center with 1 out. Second hit for the Braves tonight. Adonis's bat is coming to life. He has a 4-game hitting run now, and he's aboard for Tyler Flowers, another former Chicago White Sox performer. Braves traded him to Chicago in 2008 in the Javier Vasquez deal.
You see it on the season, 249, having a great year, and the big game-winning hit last night going the other way.
So if anybody on this club knows what Chris Sale has, I would think that it would be Tyler Flowers.
I hated facing my former catchers. I just felt like they always knew what I was going to do, and you don't want to be on the mound thinking the hitter knows what you're up to.
Fly ball crushed left center field. That ball is up and out of here. Welcome back to Chicago, Tyler Flowers. The Braves, with 2 homers against Chris Sale in as many innings, are back in front. It's 3-1.
Fastball down and away at the knees. He goes out and gets it. That is not a bad pitch. Crept over the middle, not the middle, but a third of the plate. That was a very good pitch. Tyler Flowers wasn't sticking around for the slider.
So the Braves are back in front. Here's Ibar, who had to move his feet. 1 ball, no strikes. Chris Sale's coming off a win in his last outing, but he was certainly mortal. As Frazier handles on the grass, and the throw to first is perfect. Last start for Sale was against Houston. He gave up 5 runs, 4 earned in 7 innings of work, and went over the 1,000 inning mark in his big league career. He's had a couple of clinkers this year, and including tonight, he's given up 9 homers in his last 6 starts. And 3 of those starts have been here at home against Kansas City, Detroit, Toronto, and now the Braves, who, as you know, don't usually hit a lot of home runs. But 2 in as many innings tonight. And here's Ender Inciarte batting 9th, again the DH in play for the Braves this evening. That's a reaction, Paul, I guess you see a lot from the lefties, huh?
You do. That's the nasty slider, the frisbee that starts out, looks like it's coming right at you, even behind you.
And then you get a swing like that on back-to-back pitches. Sale has 3 strikeouts, but he's allowed 2 homers, and he's trailing again 3-1, courtesy of Tyler Flowers. SunTrust moments that matter. Let's flash back to October 11th, 2005, and look at that youthful face of Paul Bird. Game 1 of the 2005 ALCS, Angels and White Sox. Birdie goes 6, gave up just 2 runs, beat Jose Contreras and the White Sox for the Angels' lone win of that 2005 American League Championship Series.
Wow, I wasn't ready for that. You ambushed me.
Does it feel like that was 11 years ago?
It feels like yesterday. Time goes by way too fast.
And 2005 was a very good year for a very good White Sox team, wasn't it?
It was. They won the World Series and only lost one. That was the only game they lost. And the next game was turned around by A.J. Przinsky, who did a little pirouette on the Josh Paul catch, and Doug Eddings was on the spotlight afterwards. And you know, I saw Ozzie Guillen earlier today, and then I turned and I looked at AJ, and we're back in this park, and yeah, had to set up a counseling appointment for tomorrow. That really hurt.
Better get it in early. We got a day game tomorrow. Game 2 of the series. As Deoner Navarro steps in, and he cracks one down the right field line, foul. So we showed that graphic early.
Yes.
First inning troubles for Matt Whistler. His club has hit 2 home runs against the best pitcher right now in the American League, arguably.
Yes.
If ever he needed a shutdown inning, this would be it.
Absolutely. When your team goes out and gets 3 runs off an all-star and does such a great job.
Good start. Ground ball to second. And an easy throw to first takes care of Navarro.
You want to go out and get your team off the field in the dugout again to say thank you. You can't always control what the hitter's going to do. You have to give them credit. They're the best hitters in the world. What you can do is you go out there and you are so focused, and you don't want to get behind the first hitter. You don't want to walk anybody. You want to go right at them. And as you can see, we got that first out.
Carlos Sanchez out of Maracay, Venezuela, Martin Prado's hometown, is the hitter. He was an undrafted free agent signing by Chicago back in 2009. A career .229 hitter in the big leagues, 148 this year. A very good defensive second baseman. And this one's lifted toward left. That one's headed for the gap. That one's down and off the wall. Man, this is a lively ballpark. Ball gets away, and he's on his way to third. Sloppy play by the Braves will cost him a base. And Sanchez 90 feet away with 1 out.
Breakdown in communication on the Braves defense, and nobody was covering second base. I think it affected Ender's throw as he turned and could not hold it. And as you see, nobody there. Freddie Freeman with a nice job backing it up and saving a run.
Luckily, he was backing up. Otherwise, Sanchez might have circled the bases. It's double and a throwing error on Enciarte. And now J.B. Shuck is the hitter with a man at third and 1 out. And that's inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Sox got Shuck from the Indians. Who's originally with Houston.
This is the difference between the American and National League. It always comes up and haunts you. The ball will find you. We need that pitcher up right now, and this is why you see the higher ERAs in the American League.
Popped up. Beckham drifts out. Still drifting. And it's going to drop. Beckham and Markakis miscommunicate, and then nobody covers second again. The White Sox have scored a run. It's 3-2, and Shuck all the way in at second base.
This is unusual for me because it's not twilight yet. I don't know if someone lost it, but this is an outfielder's ball. And you see Markakis didn't seem to be able to see it. It was his ball. You want that momentum coming in so you can make the throw to home. Unfortunately, just didn't see it, and a really tough break for Matt Whistler.
So Shuck gets a gift double. Sanchez scores the second White Sox run. It's 3-2, and we're back to the top of the order in Tim Anderson. Well, you saw on that ball to the gap in left center, Ciarte was calling off d'Arnaud. He said he wanted the baseball, but d'Arnaud was watching him field it. I don't know if he ever turned around and said, hey, throw it to third. And then that last pop-up was in no man's land in right, but it hung up there forever, and Beckham's shoulders slumped. He's frustrated because he probably thought he could have caught it too.
Could have caught the ball, but he knows once he gets to a certain point in the outfield, that's no longer his ball. Now, if the outfielder can't see it,
Garcia can't get it. Ibar can't get it. And Shuck is at third base. Anderson with a big turn got back ahead of the relay throw. In fact, Anderson slipped on the infield dirt. Otherwise, he might have tried for two. And Roger McDowell is out for a chat as the Braves starter Matt Whistler's given up 3 consecutive hits with 1 out.
Yeah, really tough deal here. So Chip in the outfield priority, center field has priority over everybody on the whole field. Then your corners, your right and your left field, and then it goes to your shortstop. Your outfielders, you want them to call off everybody because as they come in, they have the better view. So Gordon Beckham has to assume that his outfielder can't see the ball and make that catch. But when you have a guy on third base and you know the throw's going home, it's not twilight, and you run out to a certain distance into right field, you start to trust that he's going to see it, and you back off and you yield because you don't want to run into him. You don't want to make him nervous or hearing you or anything. So he really backed off early, and there was no call. Nobody saw the ball.
So here's Eaton, who walked in the opening inning. Whistler needs a ground ball. Got to keep an eye on Anderson. He's not afraid to run. He's 2 for 2 in steals. The White Sox don't run a lot, but they do have 39 swipes as a club. They're trying to rattle Matt Whistler here in the second inning. Runner goes, and it's a bunt. Eaton fell down. Whistler with a scoop tried to backhand it to Flowers. That ball might have rolled foul. And Eaton, who was knocked down by that pitch, is safely at first base. Shuck scores, and the game is tied 3-3 on a bunt hit. I've never seen that before.
Very unusual. He goes to bunt. It is on the scouting report, but it's a sneak attack with first and third. Looks like self-defense, and that ball was rolling foul. So a few defensive miscues here in the second inning, really hurting the Braves.
And that's, I think, exactly what Matt Whistler is saying to himself. If he had that to do over again, he lets it roll foul. But he didn't, and the White Sox have answered the Braves 2 in the top of this inning. A 3-3 game. Welcome to American League Baseball, folks. Here's a Brave. And that's outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
You see it hit that lip of the grass. It is going to go foul. That's a tough play.
Double steal try. Flowers throw to third is late. Tyler's thrown out 1 of 33 would-be base stealers before that double steal. And Whistler is having all kinds of trouble with men on base, and now 2 in scoring position for Abreu.
You can see the walking lead. He kind of did a little decoy with his left arm reaching back to second, and Tyler Flowers didn't have a chance on that one.
Two runs, 4 hits for the Sox so far. Only 1 out. And Abreu didn't get that slider. This pitch you talked about giving him some trouble. Another one of those would be nice.
That's also a key pitch for Matt Whistler to be successful, is that slider down in the zone.
Braves hitting .253 this year with runners in scoring position. That is not normal for him. And he hammers this one towards center. Inciarte back up one step. There's only one out, Ender. And a runner tags and scores. What is going on with the Braves tonight?
Something's wrong. This is a really weird inning.
Ender Inciarte forgot how many outs there were. He threw to the wrong base in this inning. And the Braves defensively have absolutely collapsed in this second inning with 3 runs across. I think he was going to surrender the run or concede the run, but somebody had to yell him, hey, that's only out number 2. And Abreu gets an RBI, his 51st. Eaton tagged up on the play as well. He's at third base. And here's Melky Cabrera already with an RBI hit.
You know I like Inciarte. I talk about him a lot. I'm a big fan. It's frustrating when there's a mental lapse like that. You can handle physical mistakes, but the Braves struggling right now mentally. He would be the first to tell you that. Not happy with himself, unacceptable, and I can't answer that, but there's been others in this inning as well just making some mental mistakes.
There have been 4 of them.
Yes.
Inciarte throws to the wrong base. Beckham and Markakis can't communicate on a pop-up. Whistler's decision to try a backhanded flip on a bunt that appeared to be rolling foul, and then Inciarte forgot how many outs there were.
You even made a great point about d'Arnaud not communicating with Inciarte.
Popped up. Who wants this? It'll be Adonis, and that will retire the side. Not exactly the best defensive inning for the Braves. It costs them 3 runs in the lead. We go to the 3rd. White Sox 4, Atlanta 3. We're going to give it our best shot. Zombie Night's coming to Turner Field Friday, July 15th, when the Braves take on the Rockies. Fans who purchase this special ticket package get an A.J. Brzezinski zombified bobblehead doll. Go to Braves.com/zombie today. As you said, physical errors happen. The mental ones are what really hurt you, especially against a guy like Sale, who you rocked for 3 runs on 2 homers in the first 2 innings.
Very unusual, and also coming off a game last night where you played great. It was a total team effort. Should be rejuvenated by that win. A near brawl brings everybody together, and I'm a little surprised. They've done a great job hitting Sale, but on defense, just mentally or somewhere else.
So you got to look at it, I guess, down 1-0. Scores 4-3. And Sale faces the top of the Atlanta order. d'Arnaud starts it off. Looks low. I'm sure you've been in matchups against guys with great pedigrees like Chris Sale. And your defense lets you down. How do you keep your head on straight in a game like this when you yourself aren't exactly sharp either?
I have always thought that great baseball players have short memories. So you have to forget. If you go 0 for 3, 0 for 4, you come to the park the next day, you forget about it. In the middle of a game, when you have a disaster inning for whatever reason, you forget about it. You turn the page, you mentally get ready to go next at bat, the next inning, and you turn it around.
Well, we're seeing Chris Sale not at his best. He's had base runners all over the place tonight. That's his first walk and his 4th base runner. And Gordon Beckham's the batter. He struck out his first time up. And he hits a shot to left field. That'll drop in front of Melky Cabrera. And the Braves come right back with 2 on, nobody out.
Chip, all of our pregame notes are wrong. Oh my gosh. Chris Sale is supposed to dominate. He's not.
And Freddie Freeman touched him up on our Yellowwood Bringing the Lumber feature in the very first inning.
He up jumped the boogie on a first pitch fastball away. Bringing the Lumber opposite field home run.
Just the 3rd homer allowed by Sale to a left-handed batter this year. He had 3 in his career coming into this season. So that total has doubled here in 2016. Another lefty's up there now in Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis. A leadoff walk and a Beckham single. As the Braves in business here in the 3rd.
As you can see, started him out with that first pitch slider. Not going to let that first pitch fastball.
A laser. Anderson had to play it on a short hop. There's the tag. Step on the bag. Throw to first. That's a triple play. Freddie Freeman just hit into a triple play here in the top of the 3rd inning. Unbelievable.
I'll explain it when we come back. Wow.
Ball is the triple play, and the White Sox, Paul, just turned their 3rd triple play this year.
That's crazy. And you see Anderson. Darno thinks he caught the ball. Now Lance Barrett, the umpire, is to his back, so he cannot see that. We got the tag, the step on the base, the throw to first for a triple play. Wow.
The White Sox are the first time since the 1965 Cubs to have 3 triple plays defensively in a single season. Can we start over?
There's weird stuff going on here, Chip.
Wow.
To quote Jim Carrey, pets' heads are falling off. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm nervous.
Well, it's 4-3 Chicago. Frazier, Laurie, and Navarro are coming up against Matt Whistler.
You cannot say the games are boring. I would just like to see a much cleaner game from here on out. How about that?
Popped up, that's left side and out of play. I'm no weatherman, but our great stat man upstairs, Ethan, tells me there's no full moon tonight. It's not Friday the 13th. It's Saturday the 9th, and the final Friday before the All-Star break for both these clubs. And upstairs. Last time the Braves hit into a triple play was in April of 2007 in Colorado. As that one's popped up toward us and just out of reach. You know who hit the triple play?
I do not.
Chipper.
Really?
Chipper Jones hit into a triple play at Coors Field. And now Freddie Freeman's hit into one for Atlanta. You talk about a feast or famine offensive game. You hit a homer and a triple play. What are the odds of that in a single game? Frazier pops it out of play, foul. It's country music night tonight, by the way, here at U.S. Cellular Field. Frankly, I'm shocked that Joe West isn't umpiring tonight. Been apropos. Dale Scott, Bob Davidson, Lance Barrett, and Dan Iasoni, the umpiring crew in Chicago. 8th pitch for Frazier. It is out of play, foul.
And Chip, you're going to see the infielder scooted over, playing him to pull. And if you notice, when Whistler hits his spot down and away, there's nothing he can do with it. He doesn't shoot the ball the other way. He just hopes to foul it back. But if you miss middle in, that's where he has that good home run power. As you see, just flicking it, trying to fight it off.
That's got to drive you crazy from the mound too, huh?
It really does. I remember when Ben McDonald got called up to the big leagues. I was at LSU. He was the #1 pick. And he came back and trained with us. And I said, what is the, right after you'd gotten there, I'm a sophomore. And I said, what is the difference between the hitters? Major, apart from the obvious. And he said, Paul, he goes, when you make a good pitch, they just simply foul it off so many times. In college, you're rewarded with an out 9 times out of 10. But he said, those guys are really good at fouling off a big league pitch.
Back out of play over our head. 7 fouls this at bat, 6 in a row. 12 pitches for Frazier. This is what Lucas Harrell faced over in Korea, you were saying last night.
Yes, where they actually worked on fouling nasty pitches off. They turned the pitching machine up, curveball, slider, and they would just work on fouling the ball off, not even getting a hit. Never heard of it before.
Pulled toward third. Adonis has that one. And a perfect throw to first finally takes care of Frazier, who had a terrific at bat. A lot of pitches, a lot of energy used up there by Matt Whistler, but he gets the leadoff man. And here's Brett Laurie, who struck out to end the White Sox first. Again, Laurie, the hottest hitter for Chicago, a 9-game hitting streak. Laurie's from Langley, British Columbia. He's 26 years old. The 16th overall pick by Milwaukee in 2008. He's the highest position player from Canada ever taken in the first-year player draft. Been pitchers taken higher than 16th. Jeff Francis, I beg your pardon, comes to mind. But no position players until this season had been picked higher than Brett Lawrie.
They may not have more tattoos either. Impressive ink.
Swing and a miss. Whistler's gotten him to swing and miss twice in a row. 2 outs for Deanna Navarro. Navarro grounded out to second, his lone time at the plate.
I like this guy, Chip. I have faced him in the big leagues. You see the 0 for 1 ground out, but he told me he's got the best thing that ever happened to him was playing for the Blue Jays. And I said, why? He said, I learned from Jose Bautista how to take care of my body. Bautista in his upper 30s, Navarro 32 years old. He stretches daily like it's going out of style. Yoga 3 times a week and acupuncture twice. He lost 35 pounds this offseason. He really got serious about taking care of himself, and it's paid off.
Talk about a man that's grateful for everything that life offers. It's Deanna Navarro, who had an awkward swing and a miss. His wife survived a brain aneurysm in 2003. Wasn't expected to survive. She has, and she's still by Deanna Navarro's side in the big leagues. What a story.
Sports and outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Wild game in Chicago where the White Sox lead 4-3. Nick Markakis will lead off for Atlanta. He's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
Nice career versus the White Sox, that .332 average. A lot of time with Baltimore, and man, I was really impressed. Not just because he hit 2 home runs last night, but because of where he hit them. One, a line drive to right center. I've not seen that kind of power out of him lately, and then the ball up and in, which usually goes the other way. He hit off the scoreboard.
Yeah, he almost knocked that scoreboard down. And he's going to drive this one deep to right field. Nick Markakis has found the power stroke. 3 home runs in 2 games, and the Braves have hit 3 home runs against Chris Sale, 2 of them by left-hand hitters. This is unbelievable.
Whatever you are doing, Nick Markakis, keep it up. That one down and in. Chris Sale, usually dominating left-hand hitters. When that one went out, he just shook his head like, I don't know what to do. This is crazy. And I would agree.
So new life for Atlanta. 4-4 game. Jeff Rancour is the hitter.
And I don't mean to take anything away from the Atlanta Braves hitters, but Chris Sale throws across his body. When I asked some of my friends who had hit off Randy Johnson and hit off Chris Sale. I said, what's the difference? They said 1.610, 1.66. That's it. Sale can throw the ball 97 miles an hour when he wants to. He's got two different kinds of sliders, the frisbee slider and the short quick one. Just like Randy Johnson, throws across his body. And you just don't see left-handers going up there comfortable, except for tonight.
Well, again, he had given up 3 home runs to a left-hand hitter in his career coming into the season. He had given up 2 all year this year. He's given up 2 to the Braves tonight. And this is a man that's 14-2. Has the 3rd best ERA in the American League. Has pitched more innings than anyone in the junior circuit. Has the 4th highest strikeout total. And is allowing an opponent's batting average of .214, which is 3rd best. But not tonight.
And if you would have asked me before the game who's going to struggle, I would have said all left-handers. But Freeman doing the damage, Markakis, and of course Tyler Flowers with the big 2-run.
That's pulled down the 3rd base line for a base hit. Garcia's on his way to 2nd. He'll stand with a 1-out double, and Adonis 2 for 2. And the Braves' 3rd baseman now 7 hits in his last 14 at bats. He's trying to finish the first half in a big way.
Just inside the line.
Fancy footwork by Dan Iasonia at 3rd base to get out of the way of that shot down the line.
And Garcia buckled. He reached out and hooked that. Not a swing you would teach at all, but you got to give him credit for getting the bat on the ball and just making something happen.
Tyler Flowers back at U.S. Cellular Field. Launched a 2-run homer last time up to put the Braves in front 3-1.
Nice slider right there. Now, after the home run, the next pitch to Ibar was 97. The first pitch to Tyler Flowers was 98. Sale hangs out in the low 90s range. He can go up and get it, but what that tells you is 97 again. Hey, I got to. This guy knows me, so I got to bring my best stuff right here. And then, you know, the pitch to Ibar, you're angry after you give up a big home run and you let it fly. So he certainly has learned to maintain his body and not pitch max effort every pitch except when he needs it. And as you can see right now, he believes he needs it.
That's foul into the White Sox dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You see the pitch speed this at bat. That's the back foot slider that Randy Johnson threw where you foul off. And Chip, I can honestly say, I know this is going to surprise you, I have never thrown a pitch 97 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah. I think my arm would have gone with the ball to home plate.
1 ball, 2 strikes. That's always the question for a hitter. What bothers you more? Raw velocity or raw movement? Movement outside the strike zone doesn't help you because hitters won't swing at it. Velocity out of the strike zone doesn't help you. Hitters at this level won't swing at it. Sale has both. But he's been less than sharp tonight. 4 runs, 6 hits. And he's missing all over the place. 2-2.
You made the point earlier that he's 180 pounds. I coach and talk to a lot of younger kids, and they say, gosh, I got to get big so I can throw hard. I got to lift. I got to do this. And I'm not saying you don't train with weights. You train movements. But you do not need to be bulky.
Flowers just got hit by a pitch.
The bigger your arm gets, the heavier. The heavier, the harder it is to throw hard. So you want to train like a track and field athlete, train your core, good explosiveness. the scale says. And you see that back foot slider that you're hoping to get a swing on. Tyler, good pitch recognition, and it's hard to get out of the way.
Well, a perfect case in point of a guy who wasn't 6'6", but through 97 is the man we had in our booth back in Atlanta for an inning or so, and that's left-hander Billy Wagner. And another example of a guy that wasn't exactly 6'6", but got by with a good enough fastball and exceptional deception and movement was Chris Medlin.
Yes. You even look at guys now like Stroman for the Blue Jays, who not only is just smaller but throws exceptional hard and 5 or 6 different pitches in the zone, and is a great competitor. One of the reasons I love baseball. My son Colby and I watched the Warriors series with the Cavs, and I can't get out on the court and guard anybody.
Right.
But I can play baseball.
Ivar swung at a pitch that might have hit him had he not swung at it. 2 balls and a strike.
Even in the NFL, you have to be a certain body type, I'll say. Incredible size or incredible speed. And in baseball, you don't necessarily have to be a genetic freak to get out and compete and play this game.
Two on, 1 out, 1 in. A Nick Markakis home run to right. His 3rd homer in the last 2 games. And Ivar didn't get that. It's 2-2. Markakis hit 3 home runs for the Braves all year last year. He's up to 5 now this season and 47 knocked in. This ballpark means the baseball is lively. There was a nasty back foot slider that got Ivar, and Sale has his 4th strikeout. And Ender Inciarte's coming up.
There you see the wins first at 14, and a lot of strikeouts, complete games. This guy is a very complete pitcher. Even though he throws extremely hard and has a great slider, he doesn't walk you. And his team likes playing behind him because normally he's going to work fast and you're going to get a lot of action.
Yost will have the choice of his starters for the All-Star game. Sale certainly has to be on that list with 14 victories, but you could make a case for some of those Cleveland Indians starting pitchers as well. Danny Salazar leads the American League in ERA. As that one shot toward 3rd, and Frazier will make the long throw to 1st in time, and that'll retire the side. Sale is not sharp. The Braves are taking advantage. They've touched him for 3 homers, and we're tied in the 4th.
To start tomorrow. He was scratched from his last start due to a leg infection that really started bothering him even worse when they were over in Fort Bragg. He said he did make one start with it, but it just kept getting worse, and he really knew that he could not throw again on it. Yesterday, he threw a pain-free side session, and that's when he told us right after that he does feel ready to make the start. And the most exciting news about all of this is this does mean that he is possibly available to pitch in the All-Star game on Tuesday. And guys, we've talked about it up in the booth that we didn't know what would happen with the win-loss record, but his other numbers have been all-star numbers. So we're happy to see that he did get the green light there, because he does deserve to be in that game.
Yeah, he's pitched great, Kelsey. You're right. And were it not for, as we've said about Matt Whistler, poor run support for Julio Tirana's record might be a lot different. So if you're one who believes that wins aren't as important for a starting pitcher as perhaps they are made, Julio Tirana might be example one for that notion, as he is the Braves representative for the 2016 All-Star game this year.
And I think the bottom line is he deserves to be there. He has pitched like an all-star. That low ERA definitely carries a lot of weight in my mind.
Broken bat, and Beckham at second. Throw to first, that gets Sanchez. Let's see if Whistler can restore some order here. He has set down 5 in a row. And Sanchez is out number 1 here in the 4th inning. Here's J.B. Shuck. Braves led 1-0 and 3-1. Disastrous defensive inning in the 2nd inning. 4 misplays by the Braves cost them 3 runs in the lead. Atlanta hit into a triple play in the 3rd inning, and then got a leadoff home run from Nick Markakis off sale to tie it at 4, and that's where we are.
I like this guy, Chip. Grew up in Mansfield, Ohio. Watching Kenny Lofton in the late 90s in the $5 cheap seats behind center field with his dad, and one day dreamed that he would play center field in the big leagues. Was with the Indians for 1 month and then claimed off waivers over here, and you're not with the Indians, but you're playing center field in the big leagues. Really nice story.
Shuck with 8 RBIs in his last 11 games. RBI double his first and only time up. Trying to check his swing and could not. And that takes care of Shuck on a check swing strikeout. Whistler with 5 strikeouts in the game now.
Coming in the front door with the breaking ball, Chip. And we've talked about the slider being so effective to right-handers, but Matt Whistler does very well when he has both breaking balls working. Downward action, so that he's also effective against a lefty. If your slider is flat and stays on the same plane, lefties see that and can hit it. It has to have downward tilt, and if you can throw a curveball too, work both pitches off each other, it's even better.
Anderson's been a spark plug at the top. June 13th, Robin Ventura put Anderson and Eaton back-to-back on the lineup card. That duo scored 33 runs in tandem since June 13th. Anderson scored 10 times in his last 14 games, including a run tonight here in the 2nd. Seven up, 7 down for Whistler. He's got a 2-2 pitch coming now. And that one's driven towards center. Enciarte back, ran to his spot, now gets to the warning track. And as we said, this place is the launching pad. Anderson almost hit that one out, but Whistler set down 8 straight. And the top of the order is coming up.
other night, Chip. That's his fiancee, Caitlin, and after dating her for 6 months, he said, "I would like to officially take you off the market." She said yes, spoken like a true baseball player. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's an exciting time in their lives, so congratulations. Did they get engaged here in Chicago, or was that in?
They did here in Chicago.
Great.
Yeah, very excited. Always great to see. I loved what he said, though. Taking her off, that's like a ball player. It's like, I'm going to sign you to a long-term contract.
Popped up. Frazier and Navarro, and no play. Seats.
Something else that's interesting, Chip. Chase Darno's bag did not pass inspection by the drug dogs.
What?
No. And he was handcuffed and arrested for 5 minutes at Wrigley. Turns out A.J. Przinsky knows a few people, and it was a great prank.
So, wait a minute.
Yes.
I think you need to explain a little more clearly what was.
There's only so far I can explain this, Chip, without getting in legal trouble. But no, so they just had a prank set up where the dog, German Shepherd, did not allow Chase's bag to pass. I don't know.
Put Twinkies or oregano or something in there?
They did. It was oregano.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, no, very funny. And I asked Chase, I said, I mean, come on, you had to know it was a prank. And he said, well, 75% of me thought it was a prank, but 25% wasn't sure. And I wasn't going to say anything to the cops. And once they handcuffed me and put my hands behind my back and started walking me out, I got really nervous. But, yeah, good stuff. And you need times like that during the year. You need great games like you had last night. And you need moments where there's a little comic relief during a tough season and trying to keep everybody loose.
Well, Chase is getting all kinds of practice of walking down the aisle in tonight's game. That's his second free pass that he's earned in the game. And the Braves have a go-ahead runner aboard here in the 5th inning. Braves doing good work against Chris Sale tonight. What a great ballpark U.S. Cellular Field is here in Chicago. One of the ballparks I wish I had gotten a chance to see was Old Comiskey Park, which was right across the street here. It's now a parking lot, which serves the new White Sox facility. And a shot to right by Gordon Beckham. 2 are on, nobody out again for the Braves. Last time this happened, Freddie Freeman hit into a triple play.
Well, Gordon Beckham, another teammate of Chris Sale. Again, I talked about it earlier. You hate facing, most of the time, you hate facing your teammates that have been with you for a lot of years because you feel like they know they have something on you. And tonight with Flowers home run and then Beckham right there can start to get to you a little bit mentally.
Freeman's homered. He's hit into a triple play. 2 on, nobody out. Stayed high for the Braves first baseman. Mets are playing tonight and losing to Washington 3-0. Disastrous night for New York. Yoenis Cespedes left with a quad problem. Noah Syndergaard left the game with an injury. He's been battling those bone spurs in the elbow. Matt Harvey's going to have the thoracic outlet syndrome surgery. He will be lost for the year. Mets trying to defend their title in the East are now facing a big uphill climb and losing 3-0 tonight.
There's a nice pitch right there by Sale. You can't cover everything, so if Freddie covers the fastball away well, it's hard to cover both the slider and the fastball in. And they have thrown one or the other, a fastball in or a slider away, and he's pitching them backwards, meaning starting them out with breaking balls first.
The 2-2, who is hit a mile high. That'll be an infield fly. Freeman's out. Anderson will make the catch. There's out number 1. And Nick Markakis is coming up. Nick Markakis, our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard tonight.
Most hits since 2010. Nick Markakis up there in the top with 151.
Most of those came while he was with Baltimore and against National League pitching.
Now, did you see the infield fly from Freddie Freeman in this situation again? But, you know, a lot of Braves fans tweeted me about the fly ball that Markakis missed and how that wasn't some stuff. So.
Why was it called an infield fly? In other words?
No, yeah, other words, yeah, like not Markakis, the play before, like what has to happen for it to be an infield fly? What qualifies it? How high does it have to be when they can, as far as the triple play? Because unfortunately, Chase D'Arnaud's back to the umpire, so it's a judgment call on his part. How high does it have to be? When does it?
The rule is runners at first and second, or first, second, and third with less than 2 outs. A batted ball, if fair, that's hit in the air and with ordinary effort by an infielder is ruled an infield fly. That's the gray area, as we all know from the playoffs against the Cardinals. What exactly is ordinary effort? And it is a discretionary call by the umpire. And with regards to that play that turned into the triple play, you're right, D'Arnaud's back was turned. But once the umpire ruled safe, as in no catch, the runner at first is entitled to second base, not D'Arnaud. That's why he was called out even after standing on top of the second base bag.
But I think that brings up a good point as to umpires and a judgment call and what is actually fair. I don't think D'Arnaud made a mistake on that, and unfortunately that's just some tough luck.
Yeah, he was in no man's land on that play.
Well, and I think when you see some mistakes early, you know, you're saying the Braves mentally are struggling tonight. There's a time or a temptation to pile on, but no, that was no mental mistake at all. There was nothing that he could have done, and unfortunately, that's just a really tough short hop.
Full count pitch for Markakis, and a bouncing ball right side. Sox will go to second for 1. Anderson, what quick feet. And he almost completed a double play in beautiful fashion, but Markakis hustled down the line to keep the inning alive for Jeff Francoeur.
Really nice work by Sanchez on the pivot. Coming across the bag, very athletic, not setting his feet, throwing on the run. Anderson with a nice attempt.
So 2 outs, runners at the corners. Francoeur's hit the ball to Todd Frazier twice. Jeff is 0 for 2 tonight. See if he can come up with a 2-out hit. And cash in a leadoff walk. Driven toward the gap, right center field. That ball is hammered. That ball is off the fence. D'Arnaud scores. They're going to wave Markakis. Relay throw to the plate is late. Ball gets away. Sale didn't back it up. And Francoeur's all the way around to third base. It is a big 2-out hit. And the Braves are back in front 6-4.
Ball's supposed to be in. It's not. It's away. Frenchie gets a hold of it. Ball out away from him. Driven to right center field. And then Chris Sale with a lapse. Frustrated that he's getting hit around. He does not back up home plate. And you see him standing there right in front of the pitcher's mound. He'll be the first to tell you he should have been behind home. And not just the Braves making some mental lapses, but the White Sox as well. Very weird game, Chip.
Double, 2 RBIs, and an error on the second baseman Sanchez. The that allows Francoeur to reach third. Atlanta's back in front 6-4 in the fifth. Notice didn't get it.
We've talked about the difference between physical errors and mental errors. That one on Sale, certainly a mental error. You have to be behind home and back up your bases.
That's drilled toward left. Melky Cabrera watches that sail over his head. That's off the fence. Francoeur scores. Throw to second is going to be late. Garcia got in ahead of the tag. And Don Cooper, the White Sox pitching coach, is on his way out to talk to Chris Sale, who is getting shillelied here in the fifth inning. A 3-hit night for Garcia. He's got 25 RBIs.
I'm not sure Sanchez ever had the ball. No, as you can see, he didn't. Great recovery. But it wouldn't have mattered. It was too late.
So after that pep talk, Sale will try to gather himself. Again, he's coming off a game that saw him give up 4 earned runs in 7 innings against Houston. He won that one. In fact, Sale hasn't lost since June 4th. And the 6 runs across for the Braves, the most he's allowed in a game since May 24th, when the Indians touched him for 6 runs in 3 1/3 innings. Another shot by Flowers. This one deep right center field. That ball is off the base of the fence. That's going to stay in play. Garcia scores and Flowers has a double. This is unbelievable.
Tyler Flowers with his 9th double of the season. That ball is supposed to be in. It is. Tyler Flowers doing a nice job insiding out the ball and also putting significant power on it. That's hard to do, Chip, to hit the ball on the inside part of the plate, take it the other way, and hit it off the right center field wall. Great piece of hitting. And if I'm Chris Sale, I'm shaking my head right now.
Bullpen begins to work for the White Sox. Chris Sale's given up more runs tonight than in any game since last April. He's allowed 7 extra base hits, which is also a career high. He's given up 3 homers. And 4 doubles. And the Braves have 10 hits already. And Eric Ibar has backed off the plate. 2 balls and a strike. What a weird game is exactly right. The Braves have 8 runs, 10 hits, and they've hit into a triple play tonight. They are absolutely on everything that one of the best, if not the best, pitcher in the American League has to offer in Game 1 of this series in Chicago tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Ibar didn't get it, and that'll retire the side. Boy, the Braves made great work with 2 outs. 3 consecutive doubles, plated 4 runs, and Atlanta leads it 8-4. Thank you very much. Hate to see good players get hurt. And for the Mets, who are trying to chase down Washington in this final weekend before the break, they're 3 back in the East. Not much has gone right injury-wise for Terry Collins' club. They've battled those all season long. So Matt Whistler to work in the 5th inning. He's been given 8 runs on 10 hits against Chris Sale. Whistler's retired 8 in a row. He's settling in. And Adam Eaton is the first man to greet him for the White Sox. And the count to him is now 1 ball, 1 strike.
Here's what I like about Matt Whistler, Chip. Even though he does struggle early, I really like 3rd time through the lineup how they hit 214 off of him. He gets better. That is a sign of a good pitcher. That's a sign of a smart pitcher, a pitcher that can make adjustments and settles in and hits his spots.
Deep center and gone for Adam Eaton. Old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium's got nothing on this place. Eaton launches his 5th home run. First by the White Sox tonight. They pull a run closer.
Not a horrible pitch, but on the inside part of the plate. And for a guy that likes to push bunt a lot, to go out to center field is really saying something.
So the lead's now 3 at 8-5 in the 5th. To 3rd. Garcia's got it. Abreu does not run well. And he's the first out of the inning. So Whistler's retired 9 of 10. There's the first out. And Melky Cabrera is coming up. Whistler can't complain about run support tonight. Again, he's gotten 31 total runs in his first 16 starts. The Braves have given him 8 tonight in 5 innings.
As you see the first 5 road start, 10 runs of support.
Melky Cabrera has an RBI hit. He's also popped out. Slashed down the left field line. Long run. Darno can't get there. A very poor fielding crowd here in Chicago at U.S. Cellular Field. Couldn't handle it. Guy looks like Tyler Flowers too, doesn't he? Check him out. To left and right at Darno, who's there. There's the second out of the inning. All right, you live with 1. Restore some order, get back on a good roll, keep it where it is, turn the thing back over to your offense in the 6th inning. Frazier's 0 for 2. .23 home runs for Frazier, the most by any White Sox 3rd baseman before the All-Star break. He had some good ones here. Robin Ventura, Ken Melton. The great Ron Santo was the 3rd baseman for the White Sox at the end of his career. And what good fortune for Frazier to go from Cincinnati in the Great American Ballpark to this place over in the American League.
Absolutely, 2 great places to hit. Certainly fits his style. We talked about even in Chicago, everybody trying to lift over at Wrigley, and I would say the same here. You'd certainly want to, if you could, hit the ball in the air.
White Sox bullpen continues to work. Wonder if that's going to be the end of the line for Sale. That's maybe the biggest difference in National League versus American League style ball. You can see a starter give up 8 runs in the middle innings and they send him back out there. They act like their own relief pitcher. Again, Sale's thrown more innings in the first half of the season than anybody else. Maybe it's caught up to him tonight. So we shall see what Robin Ventura has in store when we get to the 6th. We're not there yet. 2 outs in the 5th. 8-5 Atlanta. ball's going to go. Frazier hits another home run.
Well, Chip, it's just going to be one of those games. Very unusual. Both pitchers struggling here tonight, giving up the long ball. Yes, this place is a launching pad, but that pitch is over the middle of the plate. And Frazier, as we talked about earlier, have to keep the ball down and away to him. That great power. He displayed it right there.
Yeah, what worries you is, with all due respect to the Braves bullpen, these guys get to hit last. They're not going away. Braves had a 4-run lead at the start of this inning, but homers by Eaton and Frazier have made it a 2-run game, 8-6 now. And Brett Laurie is the man that's had no luck against Whistler. He's struck him out twice. And it's been the slider that's put him away both times. And he got him again with the same pitch. 3 strikeouts swinging for Laurie. 2 solo homers for the White Sox. Wild one in Chicago. It's 8-6 Atlanta.
Braves lead the White Sox 8-6 as we head into the 6th inning, and third baseman Todd Frazier for the White Sox is looking to defend his title in the home run derby. He is now second in the National League with 24 home runs after that one we just saw in that last inning. His older brother Charlie will pitch to him again. Now last year Charlie was actually in Mexico when Todd found out. He got the call here and he couldn't get a hold of him, so he had to send him an email. Finally got a hold of him. Charlie had to cut his trip short and come back and pitch to him. Well, needless to say, it's been smooth sailing for here. Todd is the 2 seed and he will look to defend it. Like I said, he beat Jock Peterson last year 15-14, so we'll see if he can do it again.
That's going to be a big ballpark too. Not a bandbox like this one in his home field. We'll see how Frazier does out in San Diego as the Braves have chased Chris Sale. Now they get Chris Beck, who's a 6'3" right-hander out of Commerce, Georgia. And the first pitch is ripped towards center field, and it's off the fence. Ender Inciarte greets him with a first pitch double. And the Braves, who had 7 extra base hits against Chris Sale, greet the pride of Georgia Southern University with a leadoff double here in the top of the 6th inning. New set of signs as we head to the top of the order. And Chase Darno.
Well, there's free baseball. And there's weird baseball.
And there's offensive baseball. That's,
you got it. Nice to see the Braves really doing the job. They've hit some very good pitches by Chris Sale, and seem to have their hitting shoes on tonight. We'll see what Chase does right here. I'm interested to see if he's going to try to bunt.
This might be the prototypical park where you play for a run, you lose by a run. I don't know if you can afford to give up outs the way the ball's carrying tonight. And the flags are starched to the left and right of the brand new scoreboard here at the Cell. We're told it's kind of a cyclone effect. The wind will blow in between those score panels and then rip out. And both teams have taken advantage of that.
Yeah, he won't try it here with 2 strikes, but Steve Rodriguez, Darno's coach at Pepperdine, said he's the best athlete he ever coached. And before the season started, Darno ran laser time 60, a 6.35. That's flying. Only Billy Hamilton would be faster. That's up there with Malik Smith. So he certainly could have the ability to not sacrifice, but just kind of drop one down, but won't be doing it with 2 strikes.
Beck, the 10th rated prospect in the White Sox organization. Chicago took him in the 2nd round in June of 2012. Inciarte is going to try to steal third. He's going to make it. He's going to come home. The ball hit down the right field line, and Darno's going to skip into second with a stand-up double. Back-to-back 2-base hits for Atlanta as the Braves get one of those White Sox runs right back. It's 9-6.
On the hit and run, nice job with the stutter step there from Inciarte coming off second. It didn't matter. Chase Darno with a good piece of hitting going the other way, and you see that speed as he rounded first, and he did a little track exercise called bounding as he came into second base. Nice to see.
6th double for the Braves in the game, and if they're not careful, Darno might try to steal third.
Here's the bounding chip. Now watch. He starts giving the little nice, easy primetime touchdown run there at the end, where you just lift and work on those hip flexors. He is a very good athlete. We talked about even Chris Bryant last night. It's hard for a guy to be good enough to play shortstop, third base, run out to center field, then run over to left field, and be really good at all those positions. Chase Darno, a super utility man, doing a great job.
We saw how valuable players like that can be when we saw the Cubs last night and earlier this season. They have a team full of guys who are super utility players, and I mean that with no disrespect to a player as good as Chris Bryant, but he's played 6 different positions this year. I'll bet Darno could do the same thing if needed for Atlanta. Same with Gordon Beckham.
I was going to say, here's another one at the plate right now.
And a bouncing ball. Anderson kept it on the infield and kept Darno at second base. What a gorgeous stop by the young shortstop for Chicago. That saved a base. And 3 straight hits against Chris Beck. First and second, still nobody out.
This is great range right here by Tim Anderson as you see the dive. Yes. Didn't save a run, but saved Darno from going to third base, and with nobody out, that is a big deal, especially in a game like tonight where you just don't know what's going to happen.
So Robin Ventura was hoping Beck could come on and give him some good relief work. It hasn't worked out for Chris. 3 hits, a run, and 2 are on with nobody out. Freddie Freeman is coming up. He's not going to let the right-hander face a red-hot Freddie Freeman. 9-6 Atlanta looking for more in a wild one in Chicago.
Baseball is sponsored by Delta Airlines, your local Ford dealer, The Home Depot, and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
It's a Wild West shootout on Country Western night in Chicago. 9-6, Atlanta has the lead, and they will face a familiar man, Dan Jennings, the former Miami Marlin. He was traded to the White Sox for Andre Rienzo after the 2014 season. Jennings pitched in 53 games last year. And that one almost got Bo Porter. Whew. Look alive, Bo.
Whoa. He's still got it. The stop, drop, and roll. I'm not sure how he got that. It's amazing what your body will do when your life is on the line.
It's a close call. Bo's been a busy man tonight. 9 runs, 13 Atlanta hits. 10 of those hits came against Chris Sale, who has departed. And Jennings, the third White Sox pitcher. And it's out of play. Left side, 0-2.
How about our guys in the Fox truck with that slow-mo right there? Outstanding view. I think the ball got about 10-15 feet before he realized it was coming right at his head.
No balls, 2 strikes. And Navarro smothered that. Jennings, originally a 9th round pick by the Marlins in 2008. He's 28 years old, 6'3", 210. Freddie stays alive. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pirates are beating the Cubs 7-4 tonight. Jake Arrieta started that game for Chicago. Weird scheduling last night had them play the Braves in a night makeup game. With the rain delay and extra innings, the Cubs didn't get to their team hotel until about 6 o'clock in the morning. The Pirates are trying to take advantage. They've got a nice lead at PNC Park. Here comes a 2-2 pitch. And Freddie checked his swing on a ball down and in. That was close.
We talked earlier about Freddie Freeman's hands being so good, talking with Kevin Seitzer. He also mentioned pitch recognition. So when you saw that slider away that he didn't chase at 2-2, decided to come in with the fastball where you can get him out and that pitch has to be perfect. Jennings misses.
Pick-off play at second, but Darno's in safely. Last time the Braves scored 9 runs was July 2nd when Lucas Harrell beat Jose Fernandez 9-1. Lead 9-6 tonight. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Freddie will see an 8th pitch. Full count. 5 foul balls off Freeman's bat in this sequence. The pitch. Missed inside. Freeman coaxes a walk. And 4 straight Atlanta hitters have reached in the inning. And now they're loaded for Nick Markakis, who's hit another home run.
Fourth inning, Markakis hitting the ball in well right now. Last night, the first pitch was up that went off the scoreboard. This one down and in the lefty's nitro zone. Usually hitting the ball the opposite field, inside outing it very well. But he has put on a recent power display.
3 homers in 2 days. Little pop. Shallow left. Melky is there, and he makes the play. There's the first out of the inning. I was going to say, as hot as Nick has been, we might need to get the Chicago police to arrest him to make him leave Chicago. But no such luck on that first pitch. The Braves, by the way, have been very aggressive early in the count this entire game. But no luck for Nick there. And there's the first out. Jeff Rancour had the first of 3 consecutive doubles back in the 5th inning. Atlanta needs 1 more run to get to 10. The Braves are the only major league team yet to score in double digits this year. They've got a great shot here with the bases loaded, 1 out.
Grinchy with a really nice double on a fastball that was up and away. And as you can see there, the slider in. Trying to mix pattern with him.
Downstairs for Francoeur. 1 ball, 1 strike. This long inning also helps Matt Whistler. It's gone 5. He's got the lead. He should be rested when the Sox come up in the bottom of this inning. He's been resting for about 15 minutes now.
That's always tough because as a pitcher, you'll take the runs, but you don't want to sit there too long, so you can either go back in the tunnel and lob a few in the batting cage, or you'll get on the stationary bike for a few minutes, or you can sit there with your head on your hand watching an offensive display.
To left. Cabrera makes a lunging catch on the warning track. That's a sacrifice fly.
I am not sure.
Was there a tag? Apparently so. Both runners tagged. And d'Arnaud came home with the 10th Atlanta run on a Jeff Francoeur sac fly, his 3rd RBI of the game. The throw came back in towards second. And the second base umpire, Barrett, signaled safe, as if to say that Beckham did tag properly and move to 3rd base.
I'm seeing everything in real time. I'm not sure Beckham tagged, but they're waiting to see if this is going to be reviewed. You see Cabrera, the nice catch right there.
So Robin Ventura and his staff apparently satisfied that Beckham did tag properly. There'll be no appeal, it would appear. And now Adonis Garcia is the batter. He's 3 for 3 tonight. And with this long delay, that might be the end of the line for Matt Whistler. Joel De La Cruz has begun to warm, and Jennings thought he got a strike there, but missed. Ball 2. That's rifled to the right side and into this big crowd here for Friday night fireworks in Chicago. Braves have scored 10 runs in a game for the first time this year, and they've hit into a triple play, and they lead. Unbelievable. And as our colleague Joe Simpson says, that's a great thing about baseball. No two games are ever alike, and this is a wild, crazy game for the ages.
It really is. Brian Snitker got to be happy with his club right now because it was off Chris Sale. It's in their park. They put up 13 hits off everybody. Everyone contributing, and it's nice to see the Braves hit some home runs.
And nice to see that emotional high of last night's extra inning game carry over tonight. And a shot up the middle. Anderson's got it, bobbles, drops, and dropped at second base. Another run is in. Garcia put it in play. Anderson had it, couldn't control it, and Beckham scores the 11th Atlanta run. Two huge innings for the Atlanta offense tonight.
Anderson with a great play earlier to save Chase Darno advancing, and that one showing great range, just hit off the heel of his glove.
And it's an infield hit for Garcia. He's 4 for 4. And Tyler Flowers, the batter. He's homered. He's doubled. He's been hit by a pitch. No, there was no intent after the home run on that hit batsman. We saw enough of that silliness last night. 2 infield hits in the inning for the Braves. Flowers, the 8th man to hit. Jennings, the 2nd reliever of the inning. Caught by Navarro. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tyler Flowers 2 for 2. The 2-run home run, the big one. Doing a really nice job splitting time with A.J. Pierzynski. And if you'll notice, he's going to spread out his stance a little bit and just shorten up that swing. That's a difference that he's been working on with Kevin Seitzer, and it's made all the difference in the world for him at the plate. Confidence is high. See, just nice and easy, ready to go.
Every Brave has a hit in the game with the exception of Eric Ibar. We're only in the 6th inning. 2 balls and a strike to the left side. Frazier scoops, flips to second in time, and that retires the side. 8 come to the plate. 3 more score for the Braves, who enjoy a 5-run lead midway through the 6th. Calendars for the 7th annual Braves Alumni Weekend, July 29th through the 31st, when the Braves take on the Phillies. There'll be tons of opportunities to see your favorite Braves legends. Visit Braves.com/alumni weekend for a full schedule of the weekend's events. And while we have a minute, a big tip of the cap to Greg McMichael in the Braves front office, who's done such an incredible job, along with the late great Pete Van Wieren, of not only initiating that alumni program, but really nurturing it and developing it. It has become one of the best weekends of the year for Braves fans everywhere. The Braves Hall of Fame inductions take place during that alumni weekend as well. So for everyone in Braves country who wants to see great players like Paul Byrd and Chipper Jones and Dale Murphy and Phil Niekro and a whole host of others, that's a Braves baseball weekend you won't want to miss.
You did not just throw me in there with those guys.
Yeah, because they'll hit you so
you can see great players, and then you can see a few subpar average players. Chip, I've been training for the softball game for 2 months.
You're ready, aren't you?
I've got all the bone chips in the right spots.
Just don't let Smoltzy hit a home run. We'll never hear the end of it. Joel De La Cruz is on in relief of Matt Wisler. 5 innings, 6 runs for Matt, but a long inning. 22 minutes, I believe it was. As this one's hit high in the air by Navarro toward left center field and playable for Inciarte. Every time the ball's hit in the air in this place, you hold your breath. That one shy of the track, and De La Cruz gets his first man. De La Cruz has started for the Braves, as you know. He is not scheduled to start in this series. And so the Braves are doing tonight kind of what Joe Madden did last night with Kyle Hendricks coming in relief. Get your starting pitchers some innings before the break to try to keep their arm in as best pitching shape as you can with the 4-day break coming up starting Monday.
And sometimes you're also going to give your bullpen a little bit of a break.
Absolutely.
After the extra inning games and the game after game type schedule the Braves have had, that's welcomed as well.
Sanchez has doubled and has scored. He's also bounced out to second. 1 ball, no strikes. And that bounces into the Braves dugout.
And if I'm Matt Wisler and I'm a young starter, I'm not worried about this one. There's just sometimes where you don't have it or the team hits, and you look at what happened to Sale tonight. It's just one of those nights. You don't panic, you don't change a thing, you just understand it's part of the game.
Broken bat, foul at first. The other thing too, Paul, is we've talked a lot about Matt's lack of run support. Let's look at some of the pitchers that Matt Wisler's locked horns with so far this year. David Price, Matt Harvey, Clayton Kershaw, Jake Arrieta, Jake Peavy, just to name a few. If anybody on this team other than Julio Teheran deserves a game like this, as far as the baseball gods are concerned, it's Matt Wisler. Again, Atlanta had given him 10 total runs of support on the road all year. Tonight, the Braves gave him 11, and that's been good enough for a 5-run lead and a chance for him to win the ball game. So we get a miss by Sanchez. It's 2-2.
I couldn't agree more, and he went out there and attacked guys. He struggled a little bit early like usual, but he only walked 1. And on a night like tonight where you just survive. There's some of those games where it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to dominate, and then there's games where you just simply don't have it. But tonight was survival night. He did a nice job.
Ripped toward right center field. Inciarte sprinting, got a good jump, and he got there. What a great running catch.
How about the wheels, Chip? Look at Inciarte get after it. That is a tough catch over his glove side shoulder. I feel like we see at least one of those a game when he's out there in the outfield. Outstanding. Last night, the running catch and the double off at second base.
So 2 quick outs for De La Cruz. J.B. Shuck is coming up. The name fraught with danger, and he takes a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is American League Baseball at its finest. On a hot, breezy night. Not a Coors Field extravaganza. We're doing it in Chicago. Ground ball past Freeman. And into right field by Shuck, who's got a 2-hit game. That ball jumped. And Shuck's aboard with 2 outs. Time for our Toyota Tweet of the Week. Tonight's question is, what's your favorite Atlanta Braves All-Star moment? There's been a lot of them. Tweet us at Fox Sports South using the hashtag Braves All-Star Moment. And your answer could be read during Braves Live postgame show. Talked about Chipper Jones hitting the home run in Atlanta during the All-Star game. Brian McCann had a game-winning hit. Oh, that was in Anaheim a couple of years ago. Do you have a favorite?
A lot to choose from.
Do you have a favorite?
I think when All-Star game moment, really nice in Boston in '99 when the All-Century team came out on the field. And Ted Williams topped it off coming out on a golf cart and got out and was crying, and everybody went over and mobbed him, and the Fenway Park fans were as loud as I have ever heard them. Really nice tribute, really nice send-off, and to play a game after that was, you know,
sure.
It's kind of like the Fort Bragg game. It's tough to play after that. You can't top that moment. So certainly something that stands out in my mind.
I agree with you 100%. I was going to say the same thing. In fact, part of that was Tony Gwynn, who was almost a caretaker for Ted Williams as far as his baseball family was concerned. I remember Tony Gwynn helping point Ted Williams toward home plate so he could throw out the ceremonial first pitch at Fenway Park. That was indeed a great moment. 2 balls and a strike.
I had met Ted Williams earlier in '91. I was fortunate enough to be at LSU and win the World Series. We went to the White House. They were honoring DiMaggio and Ted Williams for their streaks. Ted Williams for hitting over 400 and DiMaggio for the hit streak. And when I shook hands with Ted Williams, I felt like I was meeting John Wayne.
To third. That's a fair ball. Adonis, long throw, and Freeman can't corral it. That ball is going to ricochet into the stands. And all hands are safe. White Sox runners are at second and third with 2 outs. The good speed of Tim Anderson forced a low throw from Garcia. And the Braves defensively have not had a good night at all, and they are dangerously close to letting the White Sox get back in this game. A throwing error.
And that's a tough stop. It goes over the base. You're not sure how the bounce is, but he was able to, didn't have to backhand it, catch it in front. And I think he would tell you if he had it to do it over again, the throw would be much better.
I was really hoping you would say Ted Williams saying, I had no chance against your curveball in that old-fashioned windup.
He had the turquoise choker chain on the collar, and when I shook his hands, my hand disappeared. And he just had so much confidence and just an incredible presence.
Did you ever think as a kid or even in Major Leagues, did you ever sit back and think, all right, how would I get Joe DiMaggio out? How would I get Hank Aaron out? How would I get Dale Murphy out? Ted Williams? Did you play those kinds of games with yourself?
Absolutely. And when I was with Cleveland, Bob Feller hung out in the locker room a lot, and I asked what pitch DiMaggio struggled with the most. He said the slider.
Really?
Yeah, not everybody threw a slider back then. And he said that was the pitch that DiMaggio had the most trouble with.
No balls at a strike. It sounds so funny to say that a player as great as Joe DiMaggio, all those fantastic years with the Yankees, the 56-game hitting streak, that Bob Feller or anybody else would say he had trouble with any pitch. That is a man whose career high in strikeouts for a single season was 39. 39.
Well, in trouble might mean he hit 260 off sliders. you know, it doesn't necessarily mean what you think it is. It's like I thought I had really good numbers against Ichiro, only to find out at Fort Bragg he hit 308 off me. But he may have hit 350 off everybody else for a couple years.
Yeah, you might have felt
so maybe I was doing good.
Yeah, getting away with 308 against. 2-1 pitch, good stop by Flowers. And after 2 flyouts, a single and an error now forces a 3-1 count to Eaton, and Abreu, their big slugger, is waiting on deck in a 5-run game. Braves have given the White Sox a ton of extra outs tonight. Giving them 1 here in the 6th inning. But they haven't cashed it in yet. There are 2 outs. Flowers wants time.
With all respect to the Braves pitching staff, Chip, I feel like that 5-run lead is more like a 1 or 2-run lead. I just don't know what's going to happen tonight. As we talked about earlier, weird baseball.
Yeah, no lead safe in this place. As that grazed a corner, full count. Adam Eaton's been a terrific find for Chicago, and he's really blossomed since they moved him to right field. He's got 13 assists this year. That's more than any other player. Reached base 3 times, a walk, a bunt hit, and a homer. He scored twice. And the 3-2 pitch. Struck him out. And De La Cruz pitches out of a 6th inning jam. He strands a pair of Chicago runners and preserves a 5-run Atlanta game. Time. Home run derby practice tonight in Chicago. There are 5 home runs in total so far. And a few more wouldn't hurt. Ibar's the lone Brave without a hit. Atlanta has 14 of them. They've scored a season high 11 runs. If you're just joining us, Freddie Freeman homered off Chris Sale in the 1st inning. Tyler Flowers hit a 2nd inning home run off a 14-game winner for the Sox. Nick Markakis hit a 4th inning homer, his 3rd homer in the city of Chicago in the last 2 days. The Braves then scored 4 more times in the 5th, 3 more times in the 6th. And they chased Sale, who gave up 8 runs, 7 extra base hits, in 5 innings of work. And it could have been a lot worse because Sale also got a triple play turned behind him tonight. The third triple play turned in by the White Sox defense. Imar strikes out for a third time, and that's how the top of the 7th starts versus Dan Jennings. And that's his first strikeout. And here's Ender Inciarte.
Inciarte with a double in the 6th. An amazing catch that last inning. And Chip, we've seen many times where a guy makes a great catch, comes up, and gets a hit.
We'll take another one from Ender, who's 1 for 3 tonight. And a high hopper hit toward Abreu. He's got it. Race to the bag. And he beats Ender. 2 outs. The other part of this game, if you're going to put a bit of a cloud over it, is that defensively Atlanta has not helped tonight. They've had a couple of errors. There were at least 4 plays that should have been made and weren't, including that second inning in which the Braves inexplicably had 4 real bad defensive miscues. White Sox scored 3 runs out of that and gave Sale a brief lead, but the Chicago All-Star pitcher just didn't have it tonight, and the Braves were all over it. Give the offense credit. Top of the order, d'Arnaud. He's walked twice, doubled once, and scored twice.
d'Arnaud up, and I wanted to just say something about Inciarte because he made a play, and you see those nice game for Chase so far. But you know, he had the mental lapse in the field, not knowing how many outs there were, mental mistake. But that ground ball to first base right there, he busted it down the line, and you have to have. I hope everybody's like that, but not everybody is. And so he doesn't take his mistakes with him, get down on himself. He sets the tone. We saw the great base running play he made earlier in the year, which, you know, off Granderson, taking third. And so this is a guy that 99 times out of 100 mentally is going to be there and is going to hustle and sets the tone for this team.
And to Kelsey's point that she made on Braves Live earlier, and we touched on briefly in our opening comments, this is a Braves team that wants to win every game. Quite obviously, they're trying to win.
Yes.
They're trying to develop at the same time. But development doesn't mean just getting players to the big leagues. It means developing a style of play. It means developing an attitude. It means playing the game the right way. And by playing the game the right way, bad things happen sometimes.
Yes.
But as my grandfather used to say, they pay you to run hard the first 4 times. And this team's done that all year long for the most part.
And for me, developing means learning things that you have to do specifically as a player to not just have a good year, but to have 10 or 15 good years. Specifically as a pitcher, if Matt Whistler has to command the inside part of the plate and the outside part of the plate with his slider, then he needs to work on those things.
Nice stretch by Abreu to get d'Arnaud, and we have reached the 7th inning stretch at U.S. Cellular Field. Yeah, the hitters are feeling awesome tonight. I'm not sure about pitchers. In a shootout in Chicago, the Braves have scored 11 times. And the ball's been flying as we told you it would. You'll see that. Paul Bird on tonight's Game 1 game summary.
Absolutely. Beckham with a nice game, 3 for 4. Franchi, Garcia, and how about Tyler Flowers? Both Beckham and Flowers playing here with Chicago and teammates with Chris Sale. Doing a lot of damage tonight.
Well, how about a 1-2-3 inning? We haven't had many of those tonight. De La Cruz struck out Adam Eaton on a 3-2 pitch with 2 on and 2 out last inning. Abreu was chomping at the bit to come up with the bases loaded and 2 outs. That won't happen. And a strike at 92. Abreu singled. He's grounded out. And he's got a sacrifice fly. He's got hits now in 9 of his last 10 games. And 51 runs batted in. And that's fouled off his foot. Big man down on his knees in the right-hand batter's box. This is a big man. Jose Abreu is a Rookie of the Year, but came to the White Sox after playing professionally in Cuba with Cienfuegos. He hit .341 in his Cuban League career. He was a big 30-homer, 90 RBI man down there. He's done the same here for the White Sox, and he just got grazed by a pitch. And he'll take first base to lead off the 7th inning. And here's Melky Cabrera.
Cabrera 1 for 3. And Chip, I asked Robin Ventura earlier, I said, describe your team, and he just said, we're grinders. You know, it's not pretty, but most of the time we get the job done, and our goal is to win the series.
Base hit to right. Markakis had to take a few extra steps. His throw to second is on target and not in time. Melky Cabrera got in under the tag, and the White Sox have runners at second and third. This one might be looked at by the Braves. The bullpen will get to work.
Cabrera and Ibar jawing back and forth a little bit. And you can see he's on the base, but his knee went on Cabrera's forearm right there. They know each other.
So 2 on, nobody out for Frazier. The Braves have a shift on, and he jumps on the first pitch and skies it to deep center. That figures to be deep enough to score Abreu. There's the catch. Runner tags. Throws coming to third. And Melky will slide in safely. Ball got away, but it bounced right to De La Cruz, who handles in foul ground on the third base line. Frazier with his second RBI of the night scores Abreu. It's an 11-7 game. Here's Brett Lawrie, who's the happiest man in the ballpark that Matt Whistler is no longer pitching. Whistler absolutely owned Brett Lawrie at the plate tonight. He struck him out swinging 3 times.
Lawrie has stood off the plate, and normally when you do that to cover the pitch away, you have to dive. But he has stood off the plate and is not diving, just striding straight out, and has really had trouble covering away.
And he has been the hottest White Sox hitter. He's got a 9-game hitting streak on the line tonight.
I always think the game comes down to the little things. Sale got frustrated, didn't back up home, not used to getting hit around like that. And De La Cruz, he's not happy that he gave up a run and that the inning has started off the way he has with the hit batter and Cabrera getting hit. But I do have to give him credit. He backed up home, and when the throw went errant, he was there to catch it, and it saved a run. That's expected, but it's hard to do. I'm just telling you as a former pitcher, it's hard to do when you're extremely frustrated to be on top of that, as we saw earlier with Sale.
3 balls, no strikes. Chris Withrow's up in the Braves bullpen. If they hit the ball and hit it out, you live with that. But hit batsmen and walks in this bandbox, and on a night like tonight, you are asking to get beat. 3 balls, no strikes. And that one found the mark. Nice crowd tonight, 26,199. They'll have Friday night fireworks. There have been plenty during the game already. 3-1 the count. Same pitch, same results, and now it's 3-2.
It's not easy to pitch, but pitch 4 and 5 are right there in the corners. If that's pitch 1 and 2, then the other 3 that are out of the zone gets a chase, and you got an out. So really have to focus and get ahead of the hitter, and the whole at bat changes.
And Laurie is finally able to get on base. A 1-out walk, and that's going to be the last pitch thrown by Joel De La Cruz tonight. He will depart having allowed 1 run, 2 hits. He's walked a man, he's hit a man, he's struck out a man. And the White Sox continue to threaten. They've got runners first and third with 1 man out. And it will be Chris Withrow, we believe, coming on in the Chicago 7th.
Atlanta Braves baseball is sponsored by your local Toyota dealers, Let's Go Places, the Georgia Lottery, and Synovus, the bank of here.
It's 11-7. White Sox have first and third, 1 out. Don't forget to stay with us as Chris Withrow goes to work. This is his 30th game. And a 2-0 mark, 391 earned run average. Withrow's got Navarro and Sanchez lurking at the bottom of the White Sox order. Navarro is 0 for 3. Don't forget to stay with us for Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. Jerome Jurinovich might need an hour to recap all the highlights from this one.
Yeah.
Chicago tonight. Exciting start to what should be a final or fun and final weekend before the All-Star break. Navarro, an ideal candidate for a double play if Chris can get the ball on the ground. And Swing and a miss, strike one.
I said last night, Lucas Harrell starting, that the Braves pitching rotation is a land of opportunity. And I would say the same for the bullpen. Cabrera coming in and doing a nice job last night, getting the save. And Withrow here really has a chance to get out of a jam and help his teammate, his team. And I think that's what Brian Snitker is looking for, guys who can step up in the big situations and identify roles and do the job. So if I am a journeyman or a young rookie on the Atlanta Braves staff, I got to get excited with the opportunity.
Nothing in one, your count. Pretty pitch has Navarro in a deep hole. It's 0-2. Inherited runners scored and first batter faced are two very important stats for a major league relief pitcher. Withrow's got 2 on. He's got 1 out. The reason the inherited runner stat is important is many times relievers come in situations like this. They don't always get a clean inning. Withrow's allowed 6 of 16 inherited runners to score. That's not so good. He's gotten 21 of 29 first batters faced. That's in line with what the rest of the Braves relief corps has done. That's hammered into the seats. 0-2.
And sometimes those numbers aren't fair. In other words, if you have second and third with nobody out and you come into the game, it's hard to keep someone from not scoring. But over the long haul, you want a guy that comes in that has a nasty breaking ball, can get a swing and miss, and get a strikeout, and is going to attack the zone. That is what you look for.
Again, 0-2 for the White Sox catcher. Withrow had a good run going. He had a 10-game, 7 2/3 inning scoreless streak that dated all the way to June 14th. That ended up in Philadelphia when he gave up a solo home run on July 6th. Braves lead 11-7. 24 combined hits so far in this game. The pitch. He's off the end of the bat and fouled out of play.
What I said earlier about opportunity, I came to the Braves in '97 in spring training, and there was a packed locker room, and Bobby Cox gave a speech, and at the end of his speech he said, "We have 1 spot open." And you could feel the deflation in the room.
Oh, sure.
Because what he's saying is, hey, we have a great team, and it doesn't matter how well you pitch or how well you do, somebody's got to get hurt first. And so it's not always a given that if you pitch well, there's a spot for you. Every team in the big leagues is not always a land of opportunity. So one of the reasons I like watching the Atlanta Braves every night is to see who is going to step up and be the next guy that we'll be watching for the next 5 or 10 years.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And Withrow just missed a corner. It's 2-2. Withrow from the Dodgers, as you recall. Allowed him some time to continue his rehab from Tommy John surgery. He's done a nice job by and large this year. Now is giving him a fight here in the 7th inning. White Sox have a run across. Pitch. And he struck him out. So Withrow gets the first man he faced. That's the 2nd out of the inning. And Sanchez will come up. He's got a 1-for-3 game. Sanchez robbed of an extra base hit last time up. Remember, Ender Inciarte went on a flat-out sprint to track down a shot into the right center field gap. That was the 2nd out, recorded by Joel De La Cruz, the 2nd Braves reliever tonight. 1st and 3rd, 2 outs. 2 big runners to strand if Withrow can take care of Sanchez here. Miami won tonight. They beat the Reds 3-1. Jose Fernandez picked up his 11th victory of the season. A.J. Ramos the save. Pirates beat the Cubs 8-4. Jake Arrieta was beaten. He's now 12-4 on the year.
He's human.
3 straight starts by Arrieta's very high standards that weren't all that good. He's allowed 4 or more runs, I believe, in all 3 of those games. And the Cubs are not the juggernaut that they were in the first weeks of the season. Might be a little tired. They finished the first half with 24 games in 24 days. 1-1 pitch. And that's downstairs. 2 balls and a strike. So Pittsburgh in a big series. They pick up a game on Chicago in the National League Central. Cleveland won again tonight, 10-2. They clobber the Yankees. Corey Kluber, his 9th victory. Here it's 11-7 Atlanta. Oh, that got Dale Scott. Sanchez tried to tomahawk a high pitch, and there was no chance for Tyler Flowers to get leather on that. A foul ball right back off the shoulder protector of Dale Scott.
Cutter inside part of the plate. I don't know how much that bat slowed it down. Couldn't have felt good, and Flowers out the mound. Not really to talk to Withrow, but more of just giving Dale Scott a little breather.
Nothing anybody could do there except wear it. Unfortunately, Dale Scott did. He says he's all right. Dale's a good man, a real good umpire. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a pop-up. This one's playable for Markakis, and that will retire the side. Nice job by Chris Withrow. A strikeout and a pop-out sends us to the 8th inning with the Braves up 11-7.
Baseball is sponsored by Georgia Power and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
Warm summer night in Chicago. 11-7 is your score as we head to the top of the 8th inning. Paul, let's take a look at tonight's Rocket Arms, brought to you by Quicken Loans.
Well, another good pitching matchup. Julio Tron coming off that leg infection with the not so great record, but a heck of an ERA, and he's our all-star. We're excited to see him get back on the mound. Mr. Quintana.
Good pitcher for the White Sox. Braves have beaten up on one tonight. Chris Sale gave up 8 runs in his 5 innings. And this is Zach Duke. Remember him? Popped up out of play by Gordon Beckham. He's got not 1, not 2, but 3 hits tonight.
You see the numbers on Zach Duke. Nice ERA, 2-0, and 11 walks in 28 innings. Big difference there is the righty and lefty split.
Yeah, he's a reverse split guy. Better against the righties than the lefties by far. You got a righty up here now to start the Atlanta 8th.
So when you see that, that means that they have a pitch that breaks away from a right-hander.
Like that. And Gordon Beckham cut on that pitch and missed it. He strikes out for a second time, and Duke gets the first man he's assigned in the 8th.
Lefties usually more effective against left-handers because their breaking balls break away from the hitter. So when you see the reverse of that, you know they have a good sinker, split, changeup, something that moves away from that hitter.
Freddie Freeman is the batter. Boy, an eventful last couple of weeks for the Braves first baseman, wouldn't you say? He's hit for the cycle. He's won the National League Player of the Week award. He's been hitting everything to all fields, a lot of power to left. Tonight he's homered, and he's hitting to a triple play.
And no more first pitch fastballs for Mr. Freeman tonight.
It's not a surprise. He's in launch mode. This one a broken bat and into center field. That bat goes down a hero. 2-hit night for Freddie Freeman, who had just 1 hit on the road trip entering play tonight. Nick Markakis goes to work. I want to check his bat at the end of the game, make sure it doesn't say Wonder Boy on it. 3 homers in the last 2 games. 2 homers yesterday against the Cubs. A 4th inning shot against Sale tonight. And that jammed it and slide out of play, foul, strike 1.
Freddie Freeman with a nice pitching wedge over second base. The shattered bat. So if he was using Wonder Boy, he's now on to the Savoy Special.
Right.
What do you think? Okay.
Like
medium.
It. That was good. It's
okay.
good.
I'm learning, so feedback's appreciated.
Great baseball movie. 0-1 count. And another shot. This time it's Navarro who takes it. And he takes the mask off to try to clear the cobwebs. And a couple of slams of the mask in the dirt behind home plate.
Tyler Flowers has the mask that has the springs on him, allows the cushioning. I have no idea why every major league catcher would not be using that. They've done studies on that mask, and it really stops a lot of the concussions or the jarring. It's not just the home plate collisions, it's the foul tips that hit the mask constantly. And so you see Tyler's mask there on the bench.
And no chance for Navarro to get that ball. A lot of foul ground behind home plate. And an easy stroll into second for Freddie Freeman. 1 ball, 2 strikes from Markakis on a wild pitch. So with a runner at second, no set of signs. And another run or 2 wouldn't hurt. 11-7. Well, it seems so strange to say that. But this park, like Wrigley Field when the wind's blowing out, like Cincinnati's ballpark, like Fenway Park, you just don't, you never feel safe, no matter how much offense you put together.
And if you see the pinwheels there on top of the scoreboard, they're a throwback to Bill Beck's exploding scoreboard, which your Bill Beck connections, I think would attest to him being a showman.
Right across the street at the old ballpark. White Sox are also coming up on an anniversary. They don't really celebrate too often around here. But in 79, they had what's called Disco Demolition Night at the old ballpark. Swing and a miss by Markakis. Had a doubleheader with the Tigers that day. And a local radio station had an idea that, look, we'll have 98-cent ticket prices if fans bring in a disco record, and they said between games of the doubleheader, we'll blow the records up. Well, they had 70,000 people show up for the game. And needless to say, once they blew up the records, absolute insanity ensued.
What a shame.
And fans were on the field. They were setting fires in the outfield. My grandfather was on the PA trying to get fans to go back to their seats. And once order was finally restored, thanks to the help of Chicago's finest, the Comiskey Park grounds crew, Roger Bossert, I believe, was the groundskeeper then. They're actually trying to resod the field in between games of the doubleheader, because I mean, huge swaths of turf were pulled away. And as they were trying to get the field ready, they said, well, this game's going to have to be postponed. And the Tigers said, no, we're not postponing anything. This game's a forfeit. That's exactly what happened. The White Sox had to forfeit the second game of the doubleheader. Disco Demolition Night forever lives in infamy here in Chicago.
Let me tell you, Chip, you would not have gotten my KC and the Sunshine Band record. That's the way I like it. And my signature move was the twirl. You mentioned the shopping cart yesterday, which before this series is over, you may have to show everybody. A lot of people on Twitter asking what that was.
Yes, sir. One ball, no strikes for a.
I assume it's not a disco move. It's more of an 80s type.
It's pretty awful, I can tell you that. I can fully admit that.
Can't be good at everything.
Garcia's got a 4-hit night tonight. And Adonis will carry a 4-game hitting streak into Game 2 tomorrow. 9 hits in his last 16 at bats. Also knocked in a pair of runs. He's up to 26. And in the air to center. And that's playable. A line drive out will retire the side for the Braves in the 8th inning. August 19th. Get your tickets before they sell out. All guests are guaranteed to sit with a current or former Braves player, coach, alumnus, or Hall of Fame member. Go to Braves.com and order your tickets today, or call 404-614-2310. 9-1-2 for the Sox in the 8th inning. Shuck, Anderson, and Eaton. Withrow faced 2 hitters in the 7th, retired them both.
Shuck with a nice game, 2 for 3, as you can see. Withrow has shown some really nice breaking balls, cutters in on the hands. The first pitch curveball for strike. It's important as a reliever that you can strike somebody out, that you do have a good breaking ball. That will elevate your value. In an inning right now where it's a clean inning, it's not as important. But when you come in to bail somebody out and there's first and third and 1 out like last inning, it's really important that you can strike somebody out and that you can throw not just a breaking ball for a strike, but a nasty breaking ball for a strike and on the first pitch.
I couldn't agree more with you. That's something Chipper Jones talked about a lot. Let's say you're coming in, runner at third, tying run, 1 out. You can't give up contact, generally speaking.
Correct.
You need the strikeout there. And that's something Chipper Jones always said. Nothing plays better than strikeout stuff late in the game. Withrow certainly has that. He's throwing hard tonight. That one at 94 miles an hour, but he missed. The Braves have power arms aplenty in their bullpen. Cabrera can throw 103. Vizcaino can throw 100 if he needs to. Throws in the mid-90s. Jim Johnson in the mid-90s. That's, I think, one of the big changes in the game, even from the era in which you played, Paul.
Yes.
Guys would line up and watch a guy throwing 95. Now, if you're not throwing 95, you may not make the club as a relief pitcher.
Well, and Braves trainer Jeff Porter and I talk about it all the time, and he was a trainer in the 80s as well with Pursley. And he said, Paul, you know, if you threw over 90 miles an hour, you were a starter or a closer. Now you got to throw 90 miles an hour just to get drafted. And if you threw 95, you were the hardest thrower in the organization.
Up the middle. Ibar charges. Good play, good read, and goodbye. J.B. Shuck, 1 down.
Now everybody throws 90, and a lot of people on the team. And how about this running throw right there? He did not have time to set his feet and gather. He's running full speed. Very nice athleticism by Ibar. Defense starting to come around better. Struggled early with the bat and defensively, both coming around tonight, not doing as well with the bat, but he has certainly made some really nice plays over the past couple weeks.
Tim Anderson's the batter. He's reached twice. He's made a couple of good plays at shortstop, including starting that triple play off the bat of Freddie Freeman.
As you see, Cervinka and Cabrera both pitched last night, warming up in the bullpen, and Cabrera will not be a strikeout pitcher even though he throws 102 until his breaking ball gets a little bit better. He's right now primarily a 2-pitch pitcher and 102. I'm not going to ask that he throws a heavy sinker so the ball is going to be straight, and so he has to have something that works off that great fastball, and until his breaking ball gets a little bit better, he will be a contact guy, as we saw, and got a big double play last night.
Anderson loves to swing the bat. As Paul mentioned earlier tonight, this young man has only 1 walk at the major league level. So if you throw it close, got a good chance he's going to swing. Just don't make a mistake in the middle of the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pride of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Tim Anderson. Offer at that one.
He said his family would be watching back home on Fox Sports South. His wife, Bria, they have a little girl named Peyton, and she is a school teacher at Locust Grove High School in McDonough.
All right. They're enjoying the game. This one's cued back toward the mound. Withrow's got it. Thought about a tag play, but wisely flipped to Freddie Freeman for the 2nd out. 4 up, 4 down for Withrow. And here's Adam Eaton. Eaton scored twice. He's knocked in 2. He's hit a homer. He has stolen a base, and he has struck out. That bunt single in the 2nd inning, his 22nd infield hit this year. That was the ill-advised attempt by Matt Whistler to field and flip with the glove backhanded to cut off a run.
Well, and then he came up the next at bat and almost bunted, and instead he hit a home run out to center. So as a pitcher, that's extremely frustrating when a guy can lay down a drag bunt and then also shoot you out to dead center.
Ground ball to second. That'll be easy, and that'll be it for the White Sox in the 8th inning. At long last, we head to the ninth. At the top of the 10 o'clock hour, the Braves in command, 11-7. It's not an easy place to pitch.
No, it's not. Home runs per game in Yankee Stadium has turned into a bandbox with the new stadium, and Coors Field, obviously a great place to hit. We always hear about that. Chase Field, Miller Park. U.S. Cellular Field right there in the top 5. You don't always think or hear of this field. You always hear of Coors Field, or you hear of Cincinnati, but don't always think about U.S. Cellular being a launching pad. And in case you forgot, watch the game tonight.
This is Michael Inoa, the 26th rated prospect in the Sox organization, says MLB.com. 6'7", 210. The White Sox got him for Jeff Samardzija. That's not right. The White Sox got him with Jeff Samardzija from Oakland in December of 2014. He's had right elbow problems, Tommy John surgery. He's had shoulder strains, bicep strains, right shoulder inflammation. But he is a strikeout pitcher. His minor league career averaged over 9 strikeouts per 9 innings. Made his major league debut June 14th against the Tigers with 2 strikeouts in 2 hitless innings. Showed off a good breaking ball there for a 1-2 count.
Another guy that comes in throwing 95.
He'll be 25 in September. Swept off the plate. It's 2-2. Inoa started the year at AA Birmingham. He was promoted to Charlotte and is now here in the Bigs. Fly ball. Pretty deep center. Tyler Flowers will be retired for the first out in the 9th inning. As part of our partnership with multi-platinum country star Dierks Bentley, next week Fox Sports South is giving away tickets to see his upcoming concerts in Charlotte and Orange Beach, Alabama, along with some great autographed items. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Fox Sports South for details. But this is the kind of night Dierks Bentley would have liked. It's Western night, country Western night here in Chicago. Eric Ibar is the Braves hitter. Every man who started for Atlanta tonight has at least one hit, with the exception of the Braves shortstop. See if he can change that. Braves have 15 hits tonight. They've scored a season high 11 runs. Again, with no disrespect to the Braves offense, you walk into a game against Chris Sale in his home park, 14 wins, probably the All-Star game starter, at least on paper coming into play tonight. You think, wow, if the Braves can score 3 runs, they've got a chance. Well, they had 3 runs in the first 2 innings via 2 home runs. A sloppy defensive inning for Atlanta cost him the lead, but this Braves club just came back and just fouled by Ibar.
I love how you said no disrespect to the Braves offense. Our surprise has nothing to do with that. If they were the best offense in the league, all of baseball, most of the time, great pitching beats great hitting. It's just hard to hit. I think it's the hardest thing to do in all of sports. And yes, I've played golf. So when you have one of the best pitchers out there and you get run him out of the game and get 15 hits off everybody combined, it needs to be pointed out, and with no disrespect. It just wasn't expected.
Yeah, and Sale didn't have a good night, and major league hitters will take advantage of that no matter your pedigree on the mound. Sale gave up 7 extra base hits and 8 runs. It could have been a lot more than that.
And Chip, I agree with you that he didn't have a good night, but the Braves hitters also hit some really good pitches. When I threw the ball and I threw 87, 88 miles an hour, you know, Chris Sale's throwing the ball 97 from the left side sidearm across his body and throwing the ball down in the zone. And Tyler Flowers shoots him out to center field. So he didn't have the best night statistically, but I certainly think he pitched much better than what the Braves offense did to him, and you have to give them credit.
Beck, Jennings, Duke, and Manoah have followed in relief for the White Sox. As Ibar strikes out for a 4th time, 2 are out of the inning. And Ender Inciarte is the batter. Matt Whistler hung in there for the Braves. 6 runs, 8 hits in 5 innings. He gave up a couple of homers. 3 of those runs came in that sloppy defensive 2nd inning where Matt could have just collapsed and said it's not going to be my night. But then he went to work, set down 8 straight, gave up 2 homers in the 5th. And that was all for him. So we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Braves lead 11-7.
the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Well, available for the first time, the Braves and Chick-fil-A are offering 2 free tickets to any remaining home game for all members of the free Braves Kids Club. Go to Braves.com/kids today to take advantage of this great deal. 3 outs to get, 4-run lead for Atlanta. Mauricio Cabrera is going to come on and try to finish it off. They'll have the 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up for Robin Ventura's Chicago White Sox.
Cabrera with that nice ERA. We talked about the strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, 5 innings, very small sample size. Right-handers, again, hitting better off him than lefties. We'll see if that holds true tonight.
Abreu will greet him first. Interesting to me, Paul, here you have a game that's not a save situation, and with Lourdes Vizcaino wobbling just a bit, you've got a 4-run lead. This might have been an opportunity to get him in a game, but it is the tough part of the order. And Ryan Snitker is going to Cabrera instead. And that's twice tonight. The Braves have come up and in on Abreu. And that one missed badly. Ball 2.
Abreu shaken up a little bit, and not just because of the location, but because the ball is 100 miles an hour. So that's something where he hasn't seen him before, and the ball just getting on him. He needs a little bit of time to regroup.
You don't want to miss up there. And that missed low and away. 3 balls, no strikes. So here's that discussion again we were having. Velocity without location doesn't do you any good. Don't want to start walking people, not with this part of the order up. It is a 4-run game, but that's not a real big lead here. He had the green light, didn't get it.
Well, and if I'm Abreu, you haven't seen 99, 100 miles an hour. You don't get to see that very often, so you got to get it ready. And have to sit fastball here, and Cabrera's confidence after last night should be sky high, and you come in, you go right after people.
And he's rallied to fill up the count. Good cut, foul back. Lots of offense tonight. 18 runs, 25 hits combined. 9 pitchers. Cabrera, the 9th and hopefully final one tonight. And a bouncing ball up the middle, a base hit by Abreu. That's how you answer up and in. His 2nd hit. And the White Sox aren't going to go quietly in the 9th inning. Melky Cabrera will hit with a man aboard. Cabrera had some wrist problems that caused him to miss 5 games lately. He's good to go tonight. 2 hits and an RBI. His last hit is 7th inning double. He was left stranded. White Sox have left 6 on base tonight. As this one's hopped over the first base bag and into right field. Abreu's on his way to 3rd. They're at the corners with nobody out. And let's see if the Braves bullpen gets busy. Back-to-back hits by Abreu and Cabrera. Of those 6 left on, 5 have been left in scoring position for the White Sox. And Brian Snitker will go to the bullpen phone. He'll buy some time as Roger McDowell makes his way to the pitcher's mound in the bottom of the 9th inning. What a wild game tonight. An emotional, draining game last night at Wrigley Field, won by the Braves. This one just as emotional. just as action-packed, but almost equally exhausting because, again, there's just so little margin for error here. We'll talk about that and more on Braves Live presented by Xfinity after the 27th out is registered.
Yeah, well said. This is just one of those games where nothing is going to come easy, even till the end, regardless of what happens. Who wins this game? It's just one of those nights where you got to claw, scratch, and kick and fight for every little out.
So here's Frazier. No Frank Sinatra in the ninth inning. A little Guns N' Roses action as he digs in. First and third, nobody out. The Braves pen has begun to work.
There's that first pitch curveball that has to get a little bit better. He's got to show that more. Now, the curveball is very recognizable. What I mean by that is the slider and the changeup looks like a fastball moves at the last minute. Curveball starts its break earlier on its way to home, so it's more recognizable. He throws 102 with a very recognizable breaking ball. For him to become more of a strikeout pitcher, he's going to need to add slider, cutter, something else, because that fastball, even though it's 101, 102, is straight.
Frazier got a piece of that, and got a piece of Tyler Flowers on the way by, even count.
I feel guilty for critiquing somebody that throws 102. So, if you are Mrs. Cabrera, my apologies. A very special young man on the mound who is going to get better and learning at the big league level.
Jim Johnson is up in the bullpen. Bobby Cox always said big league hitters can time a jet. Let's see if he can take care of Frazier. 2 balls and a strike. Bouncing ball to short, might be 2. There's 1. There's 2. A run will score. Abreu comes home to make it an 11-8 game, but the White Sox are now down to their last out. Boy, was that needed. No RBI, the penalty for the double play. Abreu scores his second run of the game. And it's up to Brett Lawrie to keep the game alive for the White Sox. Lawrie has struck out 3 times and walked once. Braves are an out away for a second victory in as many nights here in Chicago. Last night against the Cubs, they lead the White Sox by 3 in the 9th tonight. And a breaking ball for a strike. Got the call that time.
There we go.
Flowers called for it again. Backed it up.
After those 2 pitches, 102 will look 108. We'll see if he goes to it here.
Ground ball, base hit by Brett Lawrie. 3rd hit of the inning. And Navarro is scheduled to hit. On an 0-2 pitch.
I do think that was the right call with the high fastball. Flowers standing up, but the ball ended up over the middle of the plate down. And when I say down, I just mean lower than what Tyler Flowers wanted the ball at, which was letter high.
Lawrie takes off. Braves don't worry about him. That does take away the force play, however. The importance of that play is a hit could score the 9th run and would bring the potential tying run to the plate. Let's worry about that tomorrow afternoon. Game 2 of the series with Julio Teheran pitching for the Braves. 1 ball, no strikes for the catcher, Deoner Navarro. Bell tire right down Broadway. High fly ball to left. That should do it. It does. The Braves have beaten the White Sox 11-8 the final score. A Wild West shootout in interleague play. Mauricio Cabrera finishes it off. No save for him, but Matt Whistler with his first victory against the American League runs his record to 4-8, and the Braves have beaten Chris Sale, whose record falls to 14-3. What a great offensive showing by the Braves tonight. And Paul and I will recap it from Chicago right after this.